yeah, little sexy time music. Ho-ho! That's how we like it. Let's get these headphones on. Ooh, that sounds good. Man, I sound even better. All right, everybody. Corona crew, what the hell is happening? How are you, everybody? I'm your boy, Brent Gill. Good to see you all, as always. And we got another fun one for you. Thanks for tuning in. If you're in our chat, what's going up, Rachel? How are you? Just read that as a few thighs read. Oh shit! I'm already. God damn it! Did I already fuck something up? I probably did. Just about 300 milligrams. Caesar, you're the man, dude. I remember you probably remember this joke about how I ate 450 one time and got so high that the facial recognition feature on my phone stopped working. So that was fun. Did I mistype major motion picture watching the show? Comedian Brent Hiker? I don't know. Well, whatever I did that I spelled wrong, Rachel, thank you for the correction, and thank you for joining our show. We got a fun one today. Brett Hiker is going to join us here in a little bit. Brett Hiker is a fellow comedian friend of mine. I've known him for quite some time, and he has worked on dozens upon dozens of major motion pictures. He's also worked on a bunch of TV shows. I mean, it's nuts. This guy could write a book on how much is done. I gotta write a little note because I hear a little buzz in my headphones, and I don't know if you hear buzz, but I gotta remember to look into this and see what the hell's buzzing. So, little square and try. What's the deal with the buzz? Question mark. All right. Well, anyway, it's Wine Wednesday, everyone. So I got a glass. I got a little bit left over from last night, but tonight we're gonna try a 2016 Chateau. A Chateau. This was the Grand Vin de Bordeaux. I don't know if this. I think this is a Bordeaux. It's all in French, and I don't speak French. I know it's 13.5%, so it's probably on the probably a little bit on the lighter side, I would think. But no buzz. But now I need one too. There you go, Rachel. I don't know how long our delay is here on the chat room to when I see it, but if there is a delay, don't hesitate. Keep chatting up. If you don't know what we're talking about, well, then you're not watching us on YouTube. So, I forgot one thing as well. If you can tell, I burned my forehead. I don't know if y'all can see this, but I went on a ride in my convertible and try and get some sun on my face, and boy did I get sun on my face. I have so much sun on my face. I have been cutting up little chunks of aloe off of my aloe plant outside on my deck, and then just splitting it open and rubbing it on my forehead and nose. These are the problems you have when you're balding. You know, Brett and I can talk about that when we're balding, because we are both balding pretty heavily. But anyway, look, y'all, it's Wine Wednesday, so make sure that you get your bottle of wine out and you join with us. You do a social distancing toast to what's happening. This right here, I can't read any of this, but you know it's good when it's all French up front, and then on the back of it, it's like, this is what they were required to put on the back of this thing. I got it from Costco, and if you've been listening to our previous episodes of the show, you know how much I love Costco and that Costco wine. And I believe Stephen AJ and I were talking about that. So go out there and support your local Costco warehouse. You know what I mean? That's the kind of business that you gotta. I have all sorts of beverages. I have wine, I have water, I have Red Bull. I'm getting crunk tonight. That's how we're going to do it. Anyway, so we got a fun show for you tonight. I hope everyone's doing okay. What are y'all doing right now to pass the time? I started watching Tiger King. And boy, that bitch killed that dude. It's crazy watching all of these. All it's crazy to watch all of these documentaries, like McMillions and Aaron Hernandez, and then Gabriel Fernandez. Watching all of that stuff really is like, yo, these people are legitimately killing people, and it's wild. You know what I mean? Like I don't like it one bit, and I feel like it's weird showing the world how this television, or like making television about how these people are clear murderers, and we're like, sometimes you get away with it. I feel like that's the overarching theme that we've seen so far with all these murder documentaries, is that, you know what? Sometimes they're going to get away with it. Sometimes they're not. I don't know. Seems to me like more often than not, they get away with it. You know what I mean? But it's been crazy so far. I finally got outside, got a little exercise. And by exercise, I mean I rode my bike to the dispensary, and I got myself I finally found some cheap weed. And cheap weed is, of course, subjective here in California. The weed in Colorado, by far better quality, better price, better product. You know what I mean? At the Shane Company. At the Shane Dispensary. No, but out here, I find that the weed is a little wet. It's a little more damp. It's more expensive. And the edibles take so much time. Rachel just opened a bottle of sangria. Quarantine toast to you. Hell yeah. And then, oh, dude. Caesar, if you're referring to all those people from the Tiger King, I'm not all the way in it, but like all of that shit's fucked up. That's for sure. I don't know if I could go so far as to say Colorado Springs is the best. How's your quarantine situation down there? Is the quarantine situation going okay? I feel like quarantine situations for the most part are the worst out here on the coast, because it's going to start at the coast and then work its way in. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the mega churches of Colorado Springs are definitely trying to pray the corona away, if that's even a thing. I don't know. If we could pray it away, if that fucking worked, I'm in. I am down with that. I'm down to clown. You know what I mean? Oh, that's so loud. My headphones are really loud, and that makes more sense. Well, anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about my sunburn. And Colorado just went whole state lockdown. Really? Now, here's what I got to find out, because obviously Colorado is where all my work is. But is Colorado? Are they going to give out, not like a bailout, but are they going to be part of because I just saw on the news today, California is giving out, I think, like $1,500 to all residents or something like that, and that's fucking nuts. And we've been on full state lockdown for a little over a week right now, and it is it's not this cork smells old. You know, it's weird. I feel like Costco has been doing this thing lately where they I don't know. We're going to let this one breathe for a little bit. It smells funky. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't smell skunked, but this cork smells bad. But the whole cork smells bad, not just the part touching. Maybe this is real cork, as opposed, because it's French, as opposed to, like, you know, this like synthetic cork stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna let this breathe for a sec. smells a little funky. We'll see. You know what I've always said, there's only one way to find out, and that's by putting it in your body. Okay. You can learn a lot about yourself that way. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I'm going to play a little video clip. I know that we're all on quarantine, and I haven't been able to tell jokes in a long time, so I've been finding and downloading a lot of my old comedy clips, and so I'm going to play an old clip from Comedy Works down south. I believe this show I was working with John Christ, and who's one of my longtime buddies, and real fun show. I hope you enjoy it. Where's my decanter? My decanter is in, that's what I put my tequila in, unless you mean my wine decanter. And the wine decanter I have is, I got one handed down like a family heirloom. When my grandparents died, I got a nice wine decanter. And at the time, I wasn't living in a place to where I needed it because I had a roommate at the time. Now I don't. I have an adult home and some more space, but I don't have a wine or like a bar cart. And I want a bar cart before to put like my tequila, to put all my wine in and stuff like that. Then I'll have a decanter. In the meantime, all I have is just a couple aerators. So we're going to let it breathe for a little bit. Maybe it's just a gross cork, and we'll see. Maybe it's amazing. I don't know a ton about Bordeaux's, but I do know a little bit about chateaus. I'm lying. I don't know anything about that. Anyway, watch this comedy. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to go grab some weed over there so we can do some comedians in quarantine bong rips, and we'll see you in a little bit. Enjoy. I live in Los Angeles now, and this particular show is a bit last minute for me. So flying in here, I had my first flight on Spirit Airlines. Oh, you're aware. You're familiar with Spirit Airlines. I don't have to brag about my finances. Okay, that's cool. Here's my question. How is it possible for an airline to be worse than Frontier? How is that? Spirit Airlines is like the Medicaid of the sky. Right? Like, I'm surprised they don't take food stamps for snacks. You're boarding the plane, you see a sticker on the outside, we accept EBT cards. You have Cash App? We got it. I like that. We're in Greenwood Village. Three-quarters of you have no idea what an EBT card is. But you're paying for it, so. This is crazy, man. So I was flying Spirit. I knew something would happen because it's Spirit Airlines, right? So in order to alleviate my stress, I went, bought, and ate at one time 300 milligrams of edibles, okay? Yeah, but here's the thing. I still have a medical marijuana card because I need it because of the ailments I have. I have mine for the nausea that I experience from the Adderall that I'm prescribed. So I'm on this plane, everything kicks in at one time, and I'm like, whoa. And I got so stoned that the facial recognition feature on my phone stopped working. Man, you know you're too high when a computer designed to grid your face looks back at you and goes, mm-mm. That's not you, bro. Your eyes are too puffy, right? So I'm living the dream, Spirit's going great, Spirit in the sky, living a dream, and we land, and that's when things go wrong. Because we land, and it's almost like the pilot forgot what to do next. Because we touched down, and there were no brakes, no flaps, no reverse thrusters, just flying down the runway at full-on airplane speeds. And thankfully, we are at DIA, a.k.a. Nebraska, and there's many miles. And so everyone around me starts freaking out, right? Because if you're flying Spirit Airlines, chances are you don't fly a lot. You know what I mean? And so they're freaking out. I'm like, we're gonna be fine, man. It's totally cool. And eventually we were fine because the pilot realized what was next, hit the brakes, and we come to a normal speed, and then everyone started clapping. Clapping. Because that's how low the expectations are on Spirit Airlines. They're like, we'll get you up in the air, but ugh. I mean, only God can get us down. So I feel like Spirit's slogan should be Spirit Airlines. At least we made it. Spirit Airlines, it was $42.50. Shut up. Feel like I'm too fat for Spirit seats too? That's the worst feeling ever. And I'm not even that fat, you know what I mean? But I had, recently so I'm the fattest I've been since 2008, right? And I recently had to go, thank you for laughing at that. What a weird time to laugh. The fattest I've been in 10 years. Yeah, we saw those B cups. Man, you look like Grimace up there in that purple shirt. So I recently went to the Big and Tall store to buy these new golf pants, and whoa, these are the best. Holy crap. Fellas, golf pants, this is the trick to life. Golf pants are basically yoga pants for dudes. That's what these are. They are. You, dude, lady, I see you nodding your head. Ladies, I get it. I get the yoga pant. Look at this stretch. See how effortless this was? I'm dropping stuff all the time. Just like, So I go to the Big and Tall store and I find out that they changed their name of the Big and Tall store to Destination XL. What? Destination XL? As if that was the goal. Like that. Hi, welcome to DXL. Glad you made it. Next stop, cardiac arrest. What's up? Honestly, I don't even know why I'm talking about the Big and Tall store in Colorado, because all of you hike and bike and ski and name your kids wind chime. And and you look at me like you're not even that fat. I'm like, I'm not that fat, but I'm on the scale of fatness, I'm not able to own fat. That's right? Hammocks are kryptonite to fat people, you know what I mean? You ever find me in a hammock, help me. I'm stuck. About to turn 34 years old, everybody, and thank you, 12 of you, sold out crowd, dope. I get it. I feel like I look pretty bad for 34. Here's the thing, I'm new to wearing this hat, right? So I don't wear hats on stage, but I feel like it makes me look younger, and it makes me feel better, so I do wear it. But when I take it off, it's not that bad. But I feel like when I take this hat off, I look like a stepdad on his night off. Right? I mean, I look like I have kids, too. And I do not have kids, and I don't want kids. I'm so scared of kids, I started calling condoms dream catchers. You know what I mean? I feel like that was gonna be the one that was gonna cross the line. And I was right. I mean, half of you laughed real hard, and the other half were like, I mean, that's funny, but my youth pastor's right there, so. I'll remember it for later. Part of the reason I feel like I look so bad is someone recently took a picture of me from behind, and I realized that the back of my head is balding like a middle finger. Look at this! devil. That's so mean. And like people always say, like, dude, try Rogaine. I'm like, I did. I grew a mullet, and that's not it. That's not the look I want. Last I checked, no one wants party in the back, going out of business in the front. It's bad. All right, that's gonna do it for me, everybody. Thank you so much. Ho, that's how you do it, everybody. God, I love that club so much. So much. That is like, that is truly probably my favorite club in the country right there. Man, nothing better than Comedy Works. You know, I've been looking up a couple things when I'm trying to, you know, there's a lot of news articles out there about coronavirus and how to protect yourself and stuff like that. And I just looked up, whoa, I've been trying to protect myself by tripling my cannabis intake. And I don't know if it's working, but boy, is it fun. You know what I mean? And so anyway, so I was looking up some different coronavirus cures. I think I made a horrible choice right now. Is I just dumped out this whole quarter trying to put it into a jar, and there is clearly not enough room to put this into the jar. And I've already thrown the package away, and this was just really fucking stupid. So now I just gotta cram it in there like an idiot, or I gotta smoke the rest of it. I don't know what's the best play here, but this was not my smartest move. Anyway, we're live. Sorry, everybody. This is what happens when you run a live show. So I've been looking at a few different coronavirus things here, and I wanna show you guys this one thing that really tickled me. Let me see if I can add this picture or this screen grab in here. We already have Brent Gill too. Anyway, window capture, Google. No, that's this one. That's Brett Hiker's IMDb. Where is it? That's that one. That's this one. Where's the other? Is this on Chrome? Here, let's try this. There we go. This is great. Live streaming audio properties. Well, horse shit. Okay, it doesn't want to play ball. That's fine. I'll just read them off to you. Here's a few of them that they say to help you prevent yourself from getting coronavirus. Number 1, blow drying yourself. Yep, blow drying yourself. I don't know what they thought, because they basically they're living into the myth that that the coronavirus doesn't like heat. And so they thought that by blow drying themselves, they could debunk the heat. I wonder how long it took them to do that before they melted their fucking sinuses. Also, in this article, it took Snopes or Snoops or whatever it is. I believe it's Snopes, Snopes.com. They had to be the ones to debunk it before people stopped doing it. That's a sad state. Number 2 here, it says washing your hands with Tito's vodka. And then it says, now why, and I quote, now why would you want to waste a perfectly good margarita ingredient? Okay, first of all, if you don't know that vodka doesn't go into margaritas, I don't trust the validity of anything on here. Blow drying yourself might actually work. Drinking a bunch of bleach might actually work. I don't know. Who puts fucking vodka into a margarita? What kind of monster drinks a vodka margarita? Like, that's a Moscow Mule that you're thinking, not a margarita. Just a quick little side note there, you fucking idiot. What else? Drinking a lot of bleach. That's always a fun one. Buying anything from Reverend Jim Bakker. Now, if you don't know who Reverend Jim Bakker is, this guy is a televangelist who basically said that he has found a concoction that protects. Basically, you buy this for $129, and you drink this Kool-Aid, literally, and you won't get coronavirus, which is one of the sadder things I've heard. I mean, we're all trying to make it on the internet right now. We're all trying to make moves right now during the coronavirus to come out on top of this. But I feel like if you're trying to make your money from your congregation or your followers, well, I just would say the congregation, because my followers don't believe in me like a religion. They believe in you like a religion, Jim Baker, and that's fucking lame. But you know what? You knew you were going to hell. You knew you were going to hell about 7 years ago, so I think it's okay. Anyway, I love that that also people too are hoarding toilet paper. I think that's a real funny way to go about it. I think that I know I've said this on previous episodes here, but it's crazy to me that people think that, you know, this flu virus that's going to make you sweat and sweat and fever and all that, and cough. Yeah, I better get some extra toilet paper. Unless, like I said, unless it is the fact that, you know, it's amazing how much toilet paper you actually go through when you are only pooping at your house, right? Like, I'm going through so much more toilet paper because I'm not doing it elsewhere. It's just all here. I'm like, it feels like I have a fucking roommate at this point. How many of y'all in the chat room have had trouble procuring toilet paper in this time of pandemicness? I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of people. When I went to Costco had a line specifically for toilet paper and fucking paper towels. It was nuts. What's up, new viewer? Thanks for coming in. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, it's just nuts where things are going. So, stay safe out there, everybody. Keep washing those hands. Let's quit talking about Corona and let's talk to Bert Hiker. All right? All right, you ready to do this? Cool.
Left here.
Hold on, let me turn your audio on. You're not on yet. Right there. Talk to me, Brett.
I'm
There
here.
you are. What's up, pal? How
What
are you?
is
You doing okay?
what is the deal? I'm doing fine.
And you have escaped New York right now, correct?
I panicked early and got out.
I've talked to a couple people about their panics, and boy, it's funny how people are just freaking out right now. You know what I mean?
Dude, it was so I've always picked. I was there for Hurricane Sandy, and I was like, I could see if it got a little worse than this, that New Yorkers would be just cracking each other's heads open and eating the goo inside with fucking very little. And I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. It hasn't turned to that yet, but I don't know, man. I can see like some warlords just kind of seizing the bridges and the tunnels, and all of a sudden it's just chaos there.
Well, it seems to me like it's a like a Batman Bane type situation could be happening out there.
It would be so easy to quarantine that city, like for reals. Like literally, the only way out are tunnels and bridges. Like it's an archipelago.
Big words out of Brett.
I know, right? Or, I'm going to use phosphorescent later on. Yeah, no, it's like when the National Guard moved into the Bronx, I was like, I'm getting the fuck out, and I bought a ticket for the next day and I left.
The National Guard is already in the Bronx.
Oh, now they're in Brooklyn too.
Really?
That's what I heard.
Wow.
Yeah. And they keep saying like, oh, they're not here for anything but to like deliver food. I'm like, yeah.
That's not the case at all. That's Why are you lying to me, government? Why are you trying to cover up this shit?
Yeah, I've just mobilized them and put them in all these places. They're not going to do nothing.
They're not going to do anything. They're just bored. We just have them. Yeah. You know.
So I escaped to Iowa, which was literally like going back in time a week.
Was it really? Like people are
Yeah,
still out and about and just doing shit?
yeah, absolutely. Like there's this whole state has like less than 50 cases, I think. Although where I am is where all the cases are. So,
Oh,
but
good.
yeah,
Well, I'm glad you moved from, one spot to another hot spot.
dude, this an Iowa hotspot doesn't hold a candle to a New York hotspot.
No. um man. So it's Wine Wednesday, right? And I just bought, I've been buying a couple bottles of wine at Costco, and by a couple I mean like 10 at a time, and because you got to be careful, you don't know you don't know when you're not gonna get alcohol, right?
I have like 150 beers here.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I
Well,
didn't
I
realize there's
just that's a Rolling Rock. Oh, I thought that was a Sprite. I was like, boy, you are doing quarantine wrong, pal.
hey, thirst, Brent.
I mean, I apparently it. But I bought this wine and it just doesn't smell very good.
Yeah,
No, it really doesn't.
you bought a
And
whole case.
say it again.
You bought a whole case of it.
No, I just bought one bottle. Hold on, let
Yeah.
me see if the audio's good. Yeah, I gotta turn me up and turn you down. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I think this bottle might have been skunked. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna try it anyway, but
Yeah.
it might be a little gross.
So my last trip to the liquor store, I bought a bunch of cheap beer, and then they had like those coolers with like single beers where you can make your own six pack.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll get some good beers too, and so I made like a six pack. It took me forever because I was high as a kite. But like, I spent like 10 minutes picking out six perfect beers, just like really unique beers, and I was like, sweet. And then I walked back over to my lady friend, and I held it up. I was like, look who got good beers. And when I did, the bottom of the six pack gave out, and all six bottles just fell and scattered.
Oh no! Did you have
Yeah,
to pay
yeah.
for them, or did you like just walk away and be like, yeah, I'm gonna go?
I walked away. I mean, I was in Iowa, so like they came out right away, and they're like, "Oh, that happens all the time."
Oh jeez! Oh
Yeah,
jeez!
don't you worry.
Oh God, that's funny. Yeah, no, that I feel like if that would have happened at God Bless USA Deli, then they would have made you pay for it.
Oh,
Although they
dude,
know you there though, but
yeah, they would have just closed the door and locked it and been like, "No one's leaving,"
till someone pays for these beers.
right? Yeah. Well, thank God I'm in the Midwest, where when shit hits the fan, it's not every man for himself.
I can't tell if I like this wine.
You said it was skunky.
I don't know if it is or not. It's a Bordeaux. I don't know much about Bordeaux's, but this doesn't smell right.
I know
It's
very little about Bordeaux's.
it smells like feet a little bit, but when I taste it, it's very smooth.
Make sangria out of it.
That's what Rachel just opened.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't want to open a whole nother bottle of wine because what if this bottle was expensive? See, here's the problem: is I can't remember which bottle cost what. So I'm literally just going based off of the vintage of the
Yeah.
wine to see which one may have been more expensive than the other. But I mean, the more and more I smell it, and the more I air it out, the better it goes.
Did you just crack it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Give it a second. We've all seen Sideways. We know how it works.
I hate you. That movie ruined wine.
Yeah.
I feel like it did. I don't know. Everyone's so snobby. Like I've been to I go up there to those areas, like Solvang, Santa Barbara, all that shit, and they're just like fucking ugh. Like
They're just
they're just so hoity-toity about it. Like, oh yeah, Sideways was filmed here. And I just Say it again. Yeah, they do that with the mouth. That's what they do. It's very
They take it correctly.
it's very annoying. I suppose I could turn this camera so you could see me, but the side angle was pretty fun.
I like the side angle.
Did you? You
Yeah,
like
you
it
look.
more than this angle?
No, this is hideous. It's too close.
That's what the video looks like. Oh yeah. No, yeah, there you go. Now you can see the top of my head in the Boulder Comedy Show thing. Um,
There-
yeah,
you got
man.
some.
So it's Wine Wednesday. It's also comedians in quarantine, and oh, this thing is gonna do this now. You bugger! It's gonna start bugging out on me. It's all right. It's gonna happen, and we'll just have to fix it as it goes. So, this is a new show I've been doing called Comedians in Quarantine, part of my live stream extravaganza. And oh, now you're up close again. So I do this through a software called OBS. Have you ever heard OBS software?
I have not.
Open broadcasting software. Basically, it just lets you broadcast. It's like a virtual broadcast studio. It's pretty cool actually, and you can drop in logos and graphics. In fact, if you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/C as in creator/Brent Gill, you can see what I look like and what you look like, and
I
then
mean,
you'll understand.
I can describe you to them if you want.
How would you describe me?
Oh God.
See, I think that's harder. I listened to this NPR thing once about how hard it is to describe people to people. Like for cops, like when they do a sketch,
Yeah.
I I have heard that is very very difficult, but not as difficult as you would think.
I heard. I bet comedians can do it better because they can be like, "Well, the guy looked like so and so fucked so and so."
but then you're just gonna get that person laughing the whole time, and then you're gonna get like Bozo the Clown as the actual uh, the actual
I
product.
We were on a roast show together once, and my roast joke for you, if I remember it correctly, it was, "You look like uh, the catcher for a girls' high school softball team. Fucked the kind of guy who fucks the catcher of a girls' high school."
That's pretty good. That's pretty accurate, actually. I feel like that's a pretty solid. That's a pretty solid approach there. Do you have weed with you right now? Can you smoke in the room you're in?
I can.
You can? Well, it's
Yeah.
comedians in quarantine time, so we're going to rip some chronic, and then it's comedians in quarantine smoking chronic.
Sick.
So let me pack up my bong because my bong is pretty close to ready. And this is too big. Let's make this a little smaller. And pow, there it is. Now, Brett, I'm going to put your Instagram handle up here as well. And what are you doing to pass the time? What are you watching right now? What's going on in your life?
Dude, it's it's so weird. I'm mostly drinking to pass the time.
Oh, I've turned into like a full-on alcoholic, it seems like.
It's weird. Like, yeah, it's like it's. I'll get real drunk every night, but at the same time, as I still drink less than when I'm going out and getting drunk.
Really?
Yeah, there's a point where I'm like, yeah, there's no point in drinking anymore. I'm so drunk. I'm gonna go to bed.
Right?
Whereas when you're out, you're like, oh, I want to stay out a little longer, but you can't stay out without a drink in your hand, so you just keep pushing it and pushing. I'll have one
All
more.
you gotta do is put a drink in my hand.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's that's fascinating because I feel like I've been drinking a much higher quantity because normally, when I'm out, I know that I got to get home, and so I don't drink that much alcohol because I got to go home. But if I'm home, I just like fuck yeah, there's nothing to do. Why wouldn't I just start drinking?
Fair enough.
I mean, maybe that's
How
just me, but There we go. All right. I bet my sound is way better for you right now, isn't it?
It didn't
Oh,
get any better. It's
it
always
didn't.
good.
It didn't change any better.
You've always been good, Brent.
It's just because I can talk so fucking loud. Anyway, yeah, dude, I've been drinking like a full-on bottle of wine every night almost.
Yeah.
You know, like I said at the top of the show, it's Wine Wednesday, and then I was like, well, that's pretty much wine weekdays.
Dude, what fun drunk.
Wine drunk?
Yeah.
It's great.
It's like whenever I describe like absinthe to people that have never had absinthe, when they're like, doesn't it make you trip? And I'm like, no, it doesn't make you trip, but like, you know how different wine drunk is from all the other drunks? It's like, it's the same kind of deal. Absinthe has a very unique drunk where you're like, oh, that's a one of a kind feeling.
Yeah, it's kind of like malt liquor drunk, like White Claw drunk. Like people
Yeah.
don't understand that that's malt liquor and not vodka, and they're getting White Claw drunk. And like White Claw wasted is a different type of drunk, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. Um, and it's a vicious fucking hangover too. So, all right, comedians in quarantine. Let's get this video back because this fucking software is acting funky. Now, Brett, I'm looking at your IMDb page right here, and
Yeah.
that's predominantly what I want to talk about. You've also you live kind of a fascinating life. You come from the hillbilly hills of Colorado, in Eagle, Colorado. I mean, I guess not as hillbilly as like Fort Morgan, or like,
Yeah. Mountain man.
yeah, you're a mountain. Yes, you're a mountain man. Um, and wait, so all right, how would you describe the town you grew up in?
Well, it's I don't know about 5,000 people. It's right off the highway, so that decides what type of town you're gonna have a lot. You know what I mean? Like it's on the interstate. You get off the interstate, and towns change a lot. People are a lot more like not in touch with the world.
When they're
Uh,
not on the interstate.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, corridor. Yeah. Um, I don't know. It's the big draws there. Where more or less it's a bunch of people who work up for the ski mountains, who live 30 miles down the road. But as far as my actual town, the big draws for tourists are rodeo season and hunting season.
Rodeo season. My God, talk to me about rodeo season.
My high school had a rodeo team.
What?
Yeah,
For
yeah,
real?
yeah. I used to rope with the team ropers. I was a header, as they call it. You know what team roping is?
Nope.
It's like you've seen it. You've seen it on TV or just.
It's like where they gang up on innocent animals and then rope them down.
That's all rodeo. No, team roping. Team roping is so like a steer comes running out and two people on horses are chasing him, and one guy ropes the horns and the other guy ropes the back legs. Yeah.
Oh yes, I have seen that for
So
sure.
I had a friend who was like a world champion healer. That's the guy who ropes the legs. He was a healer. And then I would go and hang out with him at rodeo practice because at high school rodeo practice, you could drink. Uh,
What?
so there was no supervision. I'm like the only people there that were like adults didn't give a fuck. Yeah. And so, yeah, I got there to drink, but on occasion I would go and try to like
You
head,
got
like just catch the horn.
you got just drunk enough to try and hop in there.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
occasion, I found myself in the bullpen with those little fuckers, and I tell you what, they're
Well,
feisty.
they didn't have bull riding for high schoolers.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, you got to be a little older for that. But
Why?
they had saddle bronc and bareback. Like there were still bucking broncos you could ride, but
Oh,
not.
there was a lot of bareback in my high school.
Brent, yeah,
It wasn't me. I'm just saying a lot of people just not wrapping it up.
yeah.
Yeah, my school taught abstinence, and then like just and so everyone just fucked raw. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, I had a high school health teacher who was just man. She taught us some of the dumbest shit that we later on to learn was total bullshit. Like she taught us that like if you smoke weed, it stays in your system for 30 days, which is like a general
That's
fact,
what
which
I've
is
heard.
more like,
Yeah.
but she's like, but if you smoke again, it adds 30 days to that. So it's now 60 days. And we are like, what? If you time you smoke, it adds 30 more days.
That
And
sounds like some fucking like some 1950s reefer madness shit.
yeah, yeah, no, it was, and she would forward all those stupid rumors of just kind of like, if you have sex on ecstasy, you'll never have another orgasm.
I
And it's
remember
just kind
that
of like,
one.
well,
Yep,
yeah,
I remember that one. I found out like a
weird.
decade later that that wasn't true.
Yeah, like no healthcare professional told you that.
Your Bible told you that. Where do you think? No, no, I don't want to get into that. Yeah, no, I heard one that if you take acid, it'll change you forever. It'll break your brain, and I would say it kind of does, but in a good way. You know what I mean? It definitely in a good way. So,
Yeah.
um,
Okay, I got to tell you what just happened now. So I'm smoking out of a vape, and I wanted to smoke a joint, and so I messaged my lady friend. I was like, "Can I smoke a joint down here in the basement?" Because she has an 18-year-old kid here too, and I accidentally just messaged her 18-year-old kid.
he's like, I mean, I'm cool with it, but you should probably ask mom.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm fine, but
is,
I don't
is
think
it
my
cool if
mom
I
would be.
come down? So Brett, tell me about your work. You went from working on ski hills and making moonshine to uh,
Team roping to
to
rodeo.
team rodeo. God, that's funny.
Yeah,
I forgot about team rodeo. Rodeo and now now you work as an electrician.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm just making some slides here. I need a fucking producer. Anyway, um, so now you work as an electrician. Now you started. I met you in comedy in Colorado, right? And then, but you were living in New Mexico at the time. Now that's where you started getting into your work. What now? What exactly do? Yeah, go ahead and finish. Yeah,
I was gonna say, do you want to know when we actually met?
for sure.
Is in college. I went to the Redfish one night because I wanted to try stand up, and you were hosting, and I watched the whole thing, and then afterwards I asked you, like I went up to you and I was like, I'm thinking about starting stand up. Do you have any advice? And your piece of advice, you said, yeah, just don't talk about how it's your first time doing stand up. I had already written like a real long, kind of like a 500-word joke about how it was my first time. Like I was all ready to tell it too. And so then I came back the next week and told it anyway and ate shit.
You should have listened.
I should have listened. I should have listened to Pulp Fiction.
Oh man, yeah. Redfish is actually right next door to where I currently run my show at the Bohemian Beer Garden, or it was. It's not there anymore. It's now Post. But okay, so that's the first time we met. Now you were still living. You were in college at that point at CU.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so what brought you down to Albuquerque?
Okay, so I guess the short story is so
No, dude, we got nothing but time.
I graduated film school at CU.
Okay, what year did you graduate?
It would have been '06,
Okay,
December '06, and then I immediately became a archaeologist.
what?
Yeah,
Are you
my
serious?
yeah, my high school hockey coach ran an archaeology firm. So me and comedian Jordan Dahl became archaeologists for a couple of years. And
What?
yeah, so we'd go out on these sites and dig up kind of like old pit houses and find Indian bones and shit like that and fucking arrowheads. And a great job, fantastic job. We had to work in like pairs because Jordan and I were dumb and we didn't know what when we found shit. So we had to work next to an actual anthropologist so we could like be like, "What's this?" and hold it up, and they'd be like, "That's a paleo point." And be like, "What's this?" And they go, "That's a rock." And like, Yeah, so I did that job for a couple of years, and then my lady friend called me. She was in my ex girlfriend at the time, but she was like she had just moved to go to med school in Philadelphia, and she's like, "Hey, they're filming the new M Night Shyamalan movie in front of my apartment," and this was The Happening. Did you ever see The
Oh
Happening?
yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
terrible,
that.
terrible movie. It was the movie that made me stop defending M Night Shyamalan. Uh, but yeah, she was like, "Yeah, they're hiring. Come on out here." Uh, I just talked to a girl who said she'd hire you as a PA, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And so I quit my archaeology job and flew out to Philadelphia. And by the time I got there, they weren't hiring. Yeah, so I got a job on a movie called Bottle World, which was like a real indie kind of $1 million budget. That was terrible. I got paid $50 a day for 19-hour days.
Holy shit!
And treated like shit the entire time. Just mean, really mean people. Just like the kind of like a PA is like the guy who like fetches people coffee, and then just like taking sips and being like too cold and spitting it at you. Just it's the
That's the
worst job.
PA.
That's
Now,
what a PA does.
so did that same person get you a job on that one because the other one wasn't hiring anymore?
No, no. I just once I got out there, I just started really looking for film work, and that's the one I could find because I
Okay.
had no resume. And then I did that for about 6 months, and then I kept hearing that there was a bunch of work in New Mexico, which was Albuquerque, and that was a lot closer to Colorado. So I flew out there, and I started working as a PA out there, and then I became a grip, and then I became an electrician.
Now, what does a grip do, and what does an electrician do? I mean, obviously we know what an electrician does, but
Man, the easiest way to explain it is the electrician makes light, and the grip makes shadows.
wow,
Yeah. So
that
yeah,
makes
like
sense.
the grips do a lot of like like when you see like the big
Like C flag or the big flags and stuff like that.
big, those are all grips, and then like the grips also do all the camera movements like the dolly and stuff.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the electricians actually make the light, or as the grips always say, the electricians make the light, and the grips make it look good.
Sounds like they're that kind of sounds like some Army Air Force type type shit. Like yeah, you do the main stuff, but we do the necessary shit.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Interesting. Okay, so you had zero work, so you didn't necessarily lie to be a PA. You just offered to do that, and then that's how you got into it.
No, I didn't lie to be a PA. I lied to become an electrician. So I could say so that first movie I worked on um, at the rap party, I'm pretty sure that two of the main actresses hooked up with the best boy grip and the best boy electric at the rap party. And I was like, damn, that rules. I got to get into that department.
How old are you at this point?
Oh, fuck. I was probably 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, I got to get into that department, which to this day, I've never seen that happen again. I've never seen the actresses be banging the grip and electric, the G&E. Uh, but yeah, so I moved to New Mexico as a PA, but I was trying really hard to become a grip. And I got PA jobs on that Jack Black movie Year One,
Yep, I remember that.
that Seth Rogen movie Observe and Report.
Yep, I remember that.
Uh, there's this kind of zombie movie called Legion with Paul Bettany and Dennis Quaid.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, it was made during the writer's strike, kind of low budget, and then like yeah, the whole time I just kept trying to be like, I'm available to grip, and then people are like, do you know how to grip? And I'm like, no, but then I finally got in, and I got really into it, and then when the grip work
So
dried
wait,
up.
wait, wait. So when you got into it, did they like and you said no. Why did they eventually give you a chance even though you didn't know how to do it?
So I started doing movies for free, like low budget movies, and like a lot of the movies that won't pay you, like they'll hire a real gripper electrician to be the key or the gaffer, and then they'll just have a bunch of volunteers below them. So I,
Okay.
I did like Hallmark movie called Forget Me Not. It was like a short. It was a short film that these guys were trying to sell to Hallmark, which it didn't sell because it was terrible.
How much
I
money
did.
did they dump into this?
shit. Well, it was some like it was like an oil family down in like kind of like the southeast corner of New Mexico. Like it's more or less getting pretty close to the Bible Belt, Lovington, New Mexico, where Brian Urlacher's from.
Okay, Lovington.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, New Mexico. And it was totally what happened was it was like this guy, like this kind of fucking rich oil guy, whose wife took a screenwriting class, and then she like wrote like a short script that she liked, and then decided that like
It was that
she
good.
like shopping it around, and she's like, I have the money too to make this. And then all these kind of like wannabe producers in Albuquerque jumped all over it, and they're like, yeah, we can sell this to the Hallmark Channel, and so I worked on that, and that was a fucking blast too.
Was it really?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wasn't getting paid, but it was like, man, we were drinking real hardcore, and just like every night. That was how they were.
Oh.
That was part of the deal. I was like, we can't pay you, but the every night we'll have an open tab at the bar, and it might have been cheaper to pay us. We were throwing down crazy amounts of alcohol.
So, it sounds like the most fun you'll have on a set are the ones that you can be drinking on.
It's the worst movies can be the most fun.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah, I did this movie called Cougar Hunting out in Aspen, and just a shitty same deal. Fucking rich lady wants to make her own movie. Just a shitty teenage sex romp. Terrible movie, but we were out there for 8 weeks and so much fun.
Really?
So
How
yeah,
much money now what makes okay, so what makes it so fun? Does everyone know that this is a shitty movie and that they just don't care or
absolutely, absolutely. There's this documentary called "The Island of Lost Souls," which is a movie about the fuck. What is that called? The Dr. Monroe.
uh-huh. The
Yeah, the
Island of
document.
Dr. Monroe?
Is that what it's called?
Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, so that Marlon Brando movie. But it's just a movie that kind of like fell apart because Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, the director, were all psychos. But like
Yep.
it's a documentary about this movie falling apart. But at one point they were like, "What was the crew doing during all this time?" Then it cuts to all this home video footage of them just getting smashed in their hotel room. I mean, like fall down drunk, and they're dressed up in the costumes and shit. And
What? They're wearing the costumes from the
oh,
show.
yeah, yeah, and they were so the director gets fired in this movie, but the crew was all friends with the director. So in the final scene, when it's supposed to be like a big like chaotic scene, they snuck the director back onto set dressed as one of the monsters, and the director just started smashing the set.
What? For
Yeah,
real?
yeah, it's a fantastic documentary, but it totally captures that really well. Of like, man, when the movie's falling apart, the crew just parties so hard because there's no. If the movie sucks, that's no one cares if you're the gaffer on a bad
Because you're
movie.
getting paid for it. It doesn't matter. You're just doing a job.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And it's so much fun to watch it just fall apart.
How often would you say Hollywood movies start falling apart and then get
Uh,
saved in post production?
I'd say I don't know. I've worked on about 70 things now, and I've seen about five of them fall apart.
Oh, so not that often.
No,
Okay. But everyone seems to know shit's falling apart and then they
oh,
just it's like unspoken like we're getting wasted here.
no, it's spoken. It's spoken.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
What was the sloppiest set you've ever worked on?
man. As far as just being drunk,
Yeah, like the one that just like this was just out of control. The movie sucked and the crew didn't care and everyone was just getting wasted.
so during the writer's strike, I went out to Iowa, where I am now, to work on some low budget movie called Underground. It was a horror movie filmed in the old Maytag warehouse, which is this building in Newton, Iowa, that's over a mile long, like an abandoned fucking
Jesus.
yeah. It's fucking insane. Like we drove golf carts around indoors in it, and
Wow.
yeah, it was a real shady like non-union and everything. And the guys were these Israeli dudes who were clearly like trying to like hide money by pretending it was a much bigger budget than it was. They were like, "Oh, it's 20 million," and it couldn't have been more than 5 million. Like I've been on enough sets to be like, this is like that. They're gonna tell the IRS that they spent 20 million on it, but no. and they were real shitty. I remember like on like my first week, I showed up and everyone had gotten paid less than they were promised in their paychecks, and so they were all fucking fired up and they were all pissed off. And eventually, like the accountant came down to set to like explain to like to answer questions. And I was standing next to this guy where he's like pointing at his paycheck and he's like, guaranteed this much for 10 hours and then this much in overtime and you're only paying me this. And the accountant, this Israeli accountant, points at it and goes, no, no, I changed your contract to pay you less.
What? No.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it was just bullshit like that. And they had us, at one point, they had us working in a fucking boiler room that was clearly full of asbestos. And like we as we were working there, we realized like there's asbestos everywhere. So everyone just fucking walked out and refused to go back in. And then about like, I don't know, 5 hours later, the producer comes to us with this fucking document from the EPA that says that they've checked out this room and everything's fine. And so we all go back to work. And then the next day we find out that this producer has been to jail multiple times for forging documents. So like, yeah, he was willing to put like all these people at risk. And so like the last week that we were there, we knew that they were going to short us on pay for our last week. And the whole thing was such a fucking shit show. It was one of those deals where the producer's daughter's the star of it and everything.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and so we just decided like in the last week just to like destroy their shit, just to like cost them as much money as possible. And I remember like the last day, like we were just everyone's just hanging out on the truck, just drinking, and just like one person's on set working. And then we
Everyone's taking shifts on like who's gonna be the one who's doing something.
yeah, the key grip is like really gets in a fight with the director, and he's really upset. And he fucking at lunch, he's just like, "Hey, I will pay someone $100 if you go to the director's condo and screw his door shut. Like take like 4 screws and put them in each corner of his door so his door won't open. Like screw his door into the frame." And I was like, "I'll take that. I'll take that money." Because it's like 4 a.m. So I went over to his condo and they told me like what number was his, and I fucking just screwed his door shut. And then and then we
Jesus
proceed to like
Christ.
yeah. So that night we're like as we're filming, we build the grips can build anything, and they built this giant fucking jump for the golf cart. Like at first it starts out as like a little jump, and golf carts are not made to jump.
No, I have
Like
been in them. They are not. They're no. They don't have shocks.
so we take it, they take it off this like fucking like I don't know, it's probably like a 6-inch jump, and then they make it like a 12-inch jump and shit, and fucking clearly like every time you take it off, the fucking thing gets more and more fucked up, and then they at one point it's like a fucking well over a foot, like an 18-inch fucking jump, and it lands and it fucking all fucked up. The at this point it can't turn right.
Okay.
It, and so we build the fucking jump up to like be like 3 feet tall for one last jump to really destroy this fucking golf cart, just to like make the producers pay for it. And this one of the grips gets in it and he fucking like gets all lined up and he hammers it. And the producer's assistant, who was just this total wiener who was narking on everyone all fucking movie,
Oh, God
comes
damn it.
like sees it and comes running out of nowhere and runs and jumps in front of the jump between the jump and the golf cart to stop the whole thing. And the guy driving the golf cart slams on the brakes, and when he does, the windshield falls out and just fucking cracks in half on the floor. And
Right in front of the
and this
producer's assistant.
yeah, right for the producer's assistant. And this producer's assistant was just like, "You guys have just lost your golf cart privileges for the rest of the movie," which is ridiculous because there's like 4 hours left of work on this movie. And we're like, all right. So he takes the fucking golf cart away and he goes to drive it back all angrily, but it won't turn right anymore. So he just has to keep doing loops. He has to keep doing loops as laughing and drinking. And then we go back to the condo.
Oh, my God.
And this is one of those movies too where we're partying real hard and we're working nights. And so like every day we get off work, we just fucking go to the town park at like 7 a.m. and just drink in the town park. And like it's a small town in Iowa, so we're like celebrities. The cops come by and they're like, "Hey, you guys drinking? Or are you guys drinking? Oh, you're the movie guys. Oh, awesome. We'll see." And all this bullshit. And
We'll see.
anyway, we we go back that night to the crew condos, not the director condos, and just proceed to trash these condos they rented for us. Like, I mean, I still say this is the single greatest party I've ever been to. Like, just like shit of like, I remember like there was the coffee table was just covered in like bowls of popcorn and glasses of wine. And one of the grips just did a fucking running start and did like the classic movie slide across the fucking coffee table, like Superman slide,
Yep.
and just knocked red wine everywhere on a red carpet. And then someone spilled wine on the couch, and someone else is like, "We got to dry that off." And so they set the couch on fire, and we threw it off the balcony into the yard.
What?
Yeah, we're in the second story of this fucking townhome,
And this is
and just like,
rented. This is a rented townhome.
yeah, that the producers rented.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
fucking. That's so fucking great. Wow. What was the name of this movie? Like, did it ever get made or finished?
you know what? I was just scrolling through my IMDb just now, or before we did this, to be like, what can I talk about? And I came across that movie, and that's one of those movies that you can't find. But I just clicked on it, and it said now on Amazon Prime, and I was like, no fucking way, because I've been looking for this movie for 10 years.
Wow. They probably had to finish.
Yeah,
They probably had to have a product to show that they took that loss.
yeah. I mean,
That's
I have
so
other movies on
funny.
here like that came out. Like that
Was-
first movie I was a PA on in Philadelphia is called Bottle World, and there's no way to find that movie.
Wow.
It screened once at the Philadelphia Film Festival, and that's it.
Did you then wait? What was the name of that movie? That one that was just a train wreck.
Underground.
Underground. Okay, and that's
It,
not
it's a it's a
on.
it's a rip off of the movie The Descent.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. All right. What's it? Is it so? Okay, so that was your worst one, and you started working on stuff in Albuquerque first, and then you
Yeah.
kind of. So when you got the opportunity to lie about being an electrician, what like how did that happen? Like you went from getting grip experience because of doing movies like that, and then
Yeah.
how did you get like is that how you got your electrician experience?
So I became an electrician because I was working as a rigging grip, which is those are the riggers are the guys who come in beforehand and set up shit
Easy with the
before like
hard R rigger, okay?
you know what? People used to really play with that on set too. Just how
I
much
bet they don't do that anymore.
they said all the time. But you know what? You don't hear it too much anymore.
Yeah, I bet not.
Any sort of rap lyric where you would hear the N word, they would slip in rigger, and you'd hear, not a muss.
Right.
But so I was a rigging grip on
Comedians
the
in
movie
quarantine
Thor.
smoking cannabis. Bam.
I was a rigging grip on the movie Thor, and
Was that your
I was
first one?
promised a bunch. Yeah, the first one, the first Marvel one, Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
It was all shot down in New Mexico. But at this point, I was living in Denver, and they were like, "Hey, we got a grip job for you on Thor," and I was like, "Sweet!" And I drove all the way down there, and I think after one day, they were like, "Actually, we don't have much work," and I was like, "Fuck!" I just drove 6 hours to like work for a month, and so I was like, "Fuck!" And then I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna go to set and just steal as much food as possible to like make this somewhat worthwhile." So I drove down to set, and I ran into the guy who was the gaffer on Terminator Salvation,
Okay.
Terminator 4. That was a grip on. That was the movie that got me in the union.
Okay.
So this is like a year later, and he's like I think he had me confused with someone else because like right away he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Good. I was rigging. I just got laid off." And he's like, "Well, I'll hire you." And I was like,
Okay.
"You
Cool.
will?" He's like, "Yeah, totally. You're an electrician, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally." And
Wait,
yeah,
it was
and
literally that quick. It was just you're an electrician. Yeah, of course. Why not?
so I literally just had to pretend to be an electrician, uh, and and yeah, I was terrible at it too, and everyone thought my name was Blake, and but yeah, I was just lying my way through it. it just became a thing. Like after Thor, I got a job on Cowboys and Aliens as an electrician,
Okay,
and
hold
then
on,
after
hold on.
that,
Wait, hold on, because I do want to hear about this for sure. But
yeah.
what are some examples of like how are you blowing it and how are you not getting fired?
You know what? A lot of it was just like I wouldn't do a whole lot. You know, I just let everyone around me do everything for me. Like I kind of just focused on pushing around heavy equipment. And whenever they asked me to do something that I didn't know how to do, I would either pretend that my walkie-talkie wasn't working, or like I would just like get halfway through it and then pretend like that it's like I had some sort of emergency and I just go to the bathroom and just sit there until someone else finished it for me. And I did this for years. I mean, years, like 7 years of not knowing what the fuck I was doing.
What?
Well, because like part of it too is like
This is
I was
fucking
lying.
nuts.
I was lying when I got there. I said I was like, yeah, I'm an electrician, and so all the questions you would ask your first year being an electrician, I couldn't ask because that would like out me. And so then like 5 years down the road, I still haven't asked the first year questions because the whole time for 5 years I don't ask questions. I don't try to learn anything because oh
And like, were there not any books or any like YouTube videos that could answer these questions?
oh yeah, I just didn't care enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You were getting paid a shitload of money though, working with thousands of amps at one time, and you're just like,
oh,
whatever, we'll figure it out.
it's crazy amounts of electricity. Yeah. But I mean, it's all very simple. You plug the blue one into the blue hole. You plug the red one into the red hole. It's it more or less makes sense. You know, I did have to like buy like a voltage meter and like which if you guys don't know, it looks like the kind of thing in Ghostbusters that like tracks down ghosts, but it's like an electrician tool. And you stick the fucking prongs into an outlet, and you can read how many volts and amps and everything. You can, has a little clamp on the end you can put around any wire and read the ohms and all this bullshit. And I carried that around on my hip, like $100 fucking device. Had no idea how to use it for like 5 years, and they'd be like, "Can you go check that?" And I'd go walk over there, and I'd stick the fucking prongs in the outlet, and it would beep, and numbers would come up, and I'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, it's good." And just
You wouldn't even yell
no
out numbers. You would just say it's good.
good, yeah, well, yeah. If I yelled out numbers, they would fucking know that. I wouldn't know whether to say like, "Oh, don't worry, it's 120 volts," or just kind of like, "Oh no, it's 120 volts." But, yeah,
120. Is
yeah.
that good?
Just constantly just trying not to out myself for how little I knew.
That's fucking crazy,
And,
man.
yeah, there's a lot of electric work, and I just kept riding that till like, yeah. So I did Thor, and then Cowboys and Aliens, and then I worked on the first Avengers movie as an electrician, and then I got a job on Breaking Bad as an electrician. All the while, just pretending to know what I was doing.
So what could you do?
What do you mean?
Like, what were you like? You couldn't have just been. You couldn't have just always had walkie-talkie malfunctions or fucking emergencies where you got to go to the bathroom. Like, what? What else did you do?
Like, I mean, like I could like put a light on the end of a stand and put it in the right spot, but I wasn't really sure like what power to connect it to and
Which
shit like that. But
lights?
I was like,
How did you know which
what's
lights
that?
to get? How did you know which lights to get?
Well, a lot of times I didn't know that either. I would just like I'd put myself in a situation where someone who knew all the lights was hanging out like on the truck where the lights are. So when they called for a light, I would be like the middleman and I would run and they would hand it to me. And then I'd bring it to set and I'd set it up. And then you always have like on a union shoot, there's always a lot of people. So other people would do the parts that I didn't know. And whenever the only thing that you could do was something I didn't know, I just pretended to get distracted.
Have you ever been fired from a set
Yeah, yeah, I
for not
have. Totally.
for not knowing what you're doing or what?
No, no, no. Every time I've been fired that I can think of is just from me being a smartass.
So you've
One
never
time,
been fired for not knowing what the fuck you're doing.
dude.
And you have
So
over
also,
70 real movies like The Avengers and fucking Breaking Bad and Daredevil and fucking Law and Order. Like like it John Wick?
yeah, 2
Was
and 3,
John Wick
not the first.
dope?
Yeah, yeah, it was cool. I was I was rigging, so I didn't get to meet Keanu. Like I was setting up beforehand, but yeah, it's cool.
That's wild.
But yeah, yeah, very much so.
So you never got okay. So you never got fired for not knowing what you were doing,
Yeah,
which blows my mind.
yeah.
Now, how many years would you say at this point in your life today? How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, okay. So just being an electrician since my first electric job was in 2010. So 10 years.
And for the first 7 of those, you had no idea what you were doing.
8.
That's mind-boggling. You're in the union.
Yeah.
You're in the fucking
Yeah.
union.
Yeah. They wouldn't let me in the New York Union until I actually figured out what I was doing.
And you had to prove it to them.
I had to prove it too. It was brutal. It was really hard.
What did you
I
have to
literally had
do?
to.
Yeah.
It was a 6-week test of just memorizing all this bullshit textbook stuff about electricity, which was like harder than college. But I mean, I'm a fairly smart guy, and I was a pretty good student, so I know if I focus, I can fucking figure shit out.
I mean, it's
And so
impressive
yeah,
enough. It's impressive enough to me that you were able to fucking get that you were able to get through that without knowing anything. Like, you got to be smart to be that dumb too.
yeah, yeah,
If that
absolutely.
makes
No,
any
it's
sense.
I take a lot of credit for like some of the shit I pulled as far as avoiding how to like there's still a couple lights that I don't that I like. There's a light called a Joe Lico, which is 2 different lights that you have to take apart and put together to make one kind of mega light. And I still don't know how to fucking do it. And it's a pain in the ass. And whenever they want it, they're always in a hurry. And still to this day, whenever they call for it, I just go to the bathroom. I just go hide so someone else would do it. I don't have to expose myself as this 10-year veteran who has no idea how to put this light together. But where I'm still like that. Like there was a point where like 90% of the tasks, I was like that. I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna go to Crafty and get some food.
Oh man, this is cracking me up. This is so funny. Okay, so how long? So why is it that you had to prove that you knew what you were doing in New York, but you couldn't? You didn't have to prove that in New Mexico.
Well, I mean, New Mexico didn't have a test. It was just like New Mexico. Once you worked on set for 30 days, you got in the union. That's all you had to do.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, and then also like people had to like stand up and vouch for you at the meeting. And if someone stood up and was like, "No, this guy sucks," that could block you from getting
That could have been
started.
bad, right?
Yeah, in New York, it's kind of like this really like this old school fucking Irish mafia founded fucking union, and for many years they you could only get in if you were family. Like it was nepotism only, and they had this bullshit test that was just kind of like it was just there to like keep people out, like people that were like I want to be in, and like well you got to pass this test that you don't even get to see like we'll grade it without you looking and tell you how good you did kind of deal. And they did that for years, and then they got in trouble and had to make like an actual test. Like they got sued, and now there's like government like people who observe the test to make sure it's
Of course.
yeah.
But New
So,
Mexico is just like,
but
I mean, like we got face and neck tattoos. Who cares?
yeah, but like a lot of things, the standards are lower in New Mexico. New Mexico is a rough place. People don't understand that because no one's ever been there. Like people
Oh, it's
like on the
definitely
coast.
rough.
I always tell people like, dude, New Mexico is the Mississippi of the West. It's
Yeah, I'd say
fucking,
so.
dude.
I'd say so.
It's bumpkin. Whenever you see like these stats of like what are the 5 poorest states or like what are the 5 lowest states in literacy, you're like, what are the 5 states with highest child mortality rates? It's always just like it's always like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, and just tucked in the middle every single time is New Mexico.
Oh boy.
All these deep South states and New Mexico. And
It really is. Yeah, you are
dude,
right. It is just the white trash state of the West. You're right.
yeah, but it's a very brown state too.
What does that mean?
I mean, it's
Oh, like
racial
brown
wise.
people, like brown people.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
it's less than 50% white. But yeah, no, it's like a
Well,
it's
they can still be
you wouldn't
trashy.
you get off the fucking main corridors in New Mexico and you wouldn't believe how many towns you'll drive through where there's not a single paved street. It's just dirt roads and just naked kids running everywhere between trailers and shit and just fucking did New Mexico's fucking rough. It's also super cheap to live there.
Yeah, it's way cheap. You can get I could probably for the amount of rent that I'm paying here in California, I could probably get a 9-bedroom house in New Mexico.
Might just
it,
man,
it's wild, man. Uh,
they still have problems with like fucking packs of wild dogs down there, like in the city. Like
Weird.
that shit's fucking dude. Breaking Bad really nails it too, where it's a mix of boring suburbia and just fucking like Tuco fucking war zone madness. It's Albuquerque's the most dangerous place I've ever lived, hands down.
Really?
I'll wind up in fucking real deep parts of Brooklyn sometimes, being like, oh shit, I'm in East New York or I'm in Brownsville, and none of them compare to the fucking bad parts of Albuquerque. Not even
Wow.
close. Yeah,
I didn't realize Albuquerque was that shitty. I
dude.
guess it's the first major city coming up from the south or from Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico is just a poor state, dude. Poverty fucking breeds crime.
Yeah.
Poverty, desperate people, and desperate people are terrifying.
Interesting.
It's a
Yeah.
state they don't have a huge population, and the states around them kind of exploit them. Arizona, Texas, and Colorado kind of exploit New Mexico a bit.
Right.
A lot of their oil money goes to Texas, and yeah, it's just kind of like one of those places that time forgot.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, no, I guess I hadn't think thank you, Mike. I appreciate I appreciate that clarification for us. I hadn't I mean, I knew that Albuquerque was shitty and I knew it was kind of shady, but I didn't realize it was that dangerous. But it's crazy that so many films get shot down there.
Yeah, I mean, well, the weather there is good. It's always sunny. It's always sunny in Albuquerque.
Always Sunny in Albuquerque.
It's always sunny in Albuquerque, and they've got some big stages there. They got like a big studio lot built there, and it's really good for like filming westerns, post-apocalyptic, and the Middle East.
The Middle East?
Yeah. So a lot of movies that take place in the Middle East are shot in New Mexico.
Really?
Yep. Like what was one I worked on? Oh, The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Yeah, that was the Middle East. Oh, I guess that. Okay, I could see that now.
Yeah, and that Mark Wahlberg one, I think it was like Lone Survivor. Um,
Which
uh,
Mark Wahlberg one? He's got fucking dozens of them. He's like the Samuel L. Jackson of like action like cop dramas.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, oh man, what else is filmed there? Brothers, which is another Jarhead, I think was filmed. Yeah, but I mean, it says something about your state too. When like what kind of scenes do you have? It's like, well, we can do we
Shitty,
can do
shitty,
a
and
hundred
shitty.
years ago. Yeah, we can do post-apocalypse, or we can do Iraq. That's what this state looks like.
Did they shoot Mad Max down there?
No, that's Australia.
Okay, gotcha. No, the second Mad Max.
No, I'm pretty sure they're all filmed in Australia.
Okay, gotcha. What was your favorite movie to work on in New Mexico?
Favorite, like as far as what it turned out to be, or just most fun?
Most fun.
Most fun thing I worked on in New Mexico, probably Terminator.
Okay.
Terminator Salvation. because I was on second unit, which was like the stunts crew.
Oh,
So
fun.
like when a movie's so big that they split into two units, like all the first unit is like the actors and shit, and then second unit is just all the stunts. So it'll just be like oh, on this day, first unit is doing a close up of Christian Bale's face as he like cringes after driving a truck off the fucking bridge, and then second unit is dropping a truck off a bridge.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
You're like, fuck yeah.
we we would do so much fucking like crazy stuff. We built a fake forest, a metal forest, probably about 150 trees, metal forest, plastic leaves, and then napalmed it.
Oh, wow.
Or napalmed the whole thing, 1,100 gallons of napalm.
Whoa. So what were you doing
Yeah, which
for
was
this? Like what was your like when you were doing that or dropping the truck off the bridge? What were you Brett Hiker doing other than hiding in the bathroom?
I mean, for so I was a grip on Terminator Salvation. So like when you're dropping a truck off a bridge, not really a damn thing because like the camera's so wide, you can't really do anything as far as lighting goes. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's a Yeah. So like we weren't doing shit.
And you're still
The
getting
the day that we
paid.
did the napalm,
Like you're
yeah,
still
you get
getting
paid.
paid
You just sit
union
around.
money.
Yeah. You're more or less just paid to be on call. So if they go, Grips, we need this real quick, you all just run in and build it real fast.
Awesome.
But like when we did the napalm thing, we had to set up little like we have those flags that are like fireproof, and so we had to set up those like we had to box in the camera guys so only their lens were sticking out because they were so close that they might get burned. And you know what? That they told us that they were like, oh, this fireball could be over 200 feet tall when we blow it. So like you got to stand back. God, I don't know how many hundreds of yards we had to sit back, and we were all pissed off because we were so far back, and we're like, dude, this is bullshit. We're not gonna be able to see it this far back. And they're like, well, we got to do it for safety precautions. And then when they lit it off, it was 650 feet high.
Holy
It was more than
shit.
three times. And it was like we're all like, whoa! Like as it goes off, we're like, whoa! And then it's getting bigger and bigger to the point where everyone's like, oh fuck! And people got up and just started running the opposite direction. And yeah, like we all thought it was out of control. And, I mean, it went down real fast, but like the people that were really close up, like the next day at fucking on set, were just like looked like they were just sunburned to hell. Like they
Oh
all just got
man.
fucking heat wave just hit them and just fucking just cooked their skin red.
Dude. That's crazy. Now if stuff like that happens, like if you get all burned up, right? Do you get do you get more like what happens?
They put your name in the credits in all caps.
No, for real, what happens?
You know what?
Do you get more
There was a
money?
girl that got hurt. What's that?
Do you get money?
I mean, you get workman's comp, and the union takes care of you really well if you get hurt on the job. But like as far as your lawsuit goes, that's your own business.
Gotcha.
Uh, yeah, there was a girl who got hurt really bad on Cowboys and Aliens. She was a PA, and she was trying to help. Like the wind kicked up, and she was trying to help the grips for some reason, which PAs are not supposed to do. And like some grip equipment got caught up in the wind, which happened in the desert a lot. The wind out there is crazy, and the wind just ripped this thing, and she stood in a coil of ropes that like tightened around her ankle, and it just drug her for
Oh
like
shit.
hundreds of feet. Yeah, and like dislocated her hip, and it drug her through the catering tent.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and she was laid up a long time. I know she got to like she got to meet Harrison Ford. Uh, that's worth dislocating your hip, right?
That was on Cowboys and Aliens?
That's on Cowboys and Aliens. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She got really hurt. Like it took her like years to walk again.
Now, if it was her, if she was dumb about it, then she kind of has no grounds to do anything.
No, I still think she does. Like, the fact of the matter is that she was working for the TV show. She was trying to help the TV show, even though she wasn't doing it right. The fact of the matter was like that there's such a PAs are under so much pressure to like not fuck up. They're always telling PAs like PAs never sit down. PAs always have whatever you're looking for, whether it's a pen, whether it's a piece of gum, whether it's like you always be ready and all this shit and
That
a
sounds
piece of
ridiculous.
paper.
That
And all.
sounds awful.
yeah, you always have an extra call sheet, and they treat them like shit. And so the PAs are so fucking nervous that when they see like, kind of like three people doing a 4-man job, they just run in and jump in, even though they don't know what they're doing or they try to.
Gotcha.
So I mean, like, if your fucking higher ups are going to create a fucking atmosphere where people feel like they need to like help out where they don't know what the fuck is going on, then yeah, you got to fucking pay them when they get hurt.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true. Have you ever been hurt on the job?
Um, so I got stabbed in the hand like 2 weeks ago. Uh,
Go
my
on.
my boss like my boss was handing me a light, like a big kind of fluorescent tube, but he had his knife too, and he was holding them both in the same hand, and he's like, here, and he handed it to me. I just grabbed his fucking box cutter and just sliced my finger real bad. And
Coronavirus. Did
like
you
as
get
soon
the virus?
I felt, I pulled my hand back, and he's like, "Oh yeah, look out for my knife." And then I was like, I looked at my hand, blood just running down my hand, like
Fuck.
down my arm, and he's like, "Did I get you?" He's like, "Did I get you?" And I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. He's like, "All right, take a break."
Take a break. Wrap it up. We'll see you in 5.
Well, yep. There's always a medic on set too, so you just go to the medic and be like, "Bandage me up."
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Um, the worst I've gotten hurt. You know what? So I worked on this movie called Winter's Tale, which was a box office bust, but it had like Russell Crowe and fucking Colin Farrell, and it was like supposed to be like this epic tale that ended up just being a total bust. Came out in 2014, but it was when I first moved to New York, and I fucking they had filmed in the basement of this old church, and the first day they brought me in was to like help clean up the set, and when I did, I was like, those big fucking steel doors they have outside of every bodega in New York on the
Yep.
street.
Yep.
You walk past. So we had power running down into one of those, and I was like, I was reaching in there like it was tied to something on the wall, and I cut the rope loose where it was tied to, and when it did, the fucking cable pulled back and then caught the door, and then the door slammed on my head, like I was on my hands and knees and just
Yeesh.
slammed on my head, and it was like 5 in the morning. We had just got to work, and this happened,
Fuck.
and no one thought, like there was no witnesses, and I just like rolled over like on my back, like on the sidewalk in fucking Harlem, and just fucking like laid on my back on the sidewalk. But, oh fuck, like, it was concussion worthy, and I just laid there being like, okay, someone's gonna come by and see me, and realize that I got really hurt, and
And
then
no one
because I
fucking came by.
saw that no one's gonna believe me if I go like I hit my head, I gotta go home. And so I just fucking laid there for like 5 minutes, being like, someone will come across and find me. And then no one came and found me. And so I just had to like get up. Like, I was brand new to New York, and I knew it would be like if that happened to me today, I would just go fucking straight home. I'd just be like, fuck this, I'm fucking done. But like I was still new enough that I just after like no one came and checked on me, I just went back to work.
Oh man. That's a big old knot on the back of your head. That
Dude, it was
sucks.
brutal.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So how hard was it getting into the union in New York then? Because it seems like with Albuquerque they didn't give a shit, but in New York it seems like they gave a shit. But how did you even get work to begin with?
Well, I got work in New York because they're so fucking busy. They were calling other unions
Oh
during the busy
wow.
season, which is like I don't know, August through December. They're calling other unions, being like, oh, "Send your guys out if they want work because we got way too much. We're
Wow.
literally like, yeah, we can only like half staff movies right now." And so I went out there in 2012 when they were really busy to work on a Liam Neeson movie called Nonstop, where Liam Neeson saved the airplane.
Of course.
Uh,
Of course.
Quality movie.
It's crazy
And
to me how bad movies can be, uh, because I think you're the one that told me that you'll see movies, and now you've done it for so long that if it looks like it's going to be a good movie in production, it's normally shitty, and if it looks like it's going to be shitty in production, it's normally great. Is that still true?
No, that was true for me like my first 5 years. Like
In
I didn't
Albuquerque.
know how. Yeah, I didn't know how to read a movie back then. But
Okay.
yeah, nowadays. Although you know what, I worked on Get Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fucking, I thought that was gonna be terrible. Like it was just like it was a low budget fucking stinker. So I was the fucking boss. I was the best boy, and it was just like they're paying like $18 an hour. It was way upstate, and it was terrible. And everyone's like, oh, like what are we doing? They're like, oh, it's a horror movie made by Jordan Peele, which at the time he was the guy from Key and Peele and not much else.
Right.
You know, they're like, Jordan Peele's making a horror
You're
movie?
like,
Like
oh
this,
God.
this is never gonna see the light of day. And then all of a sudden, fucking that thing was huge.
Massive. So
And it
do
makes
you just get paid your daily rates, or do you ever get any residuals?
no, yeah, I don't get residuals. I want fucking residuals. I fucking dude, if I meet Jordan Peele, I'm confronting him, and be like, dude, you fucking had us out in Lyme, New York, where they discovered Lyme disease
Oh
in the
wow.
fuck in the middle of tick season. Just had us like hiking through like chest deep weeds to fucking film
For $18 an hour.
for $18 an hour. Yeah, and then they didn't give us any money for our fucking health insurance too. They fucking skipped us. They skimped out on that, or me anyway. And then the movie makes fucking 500 million.
Wow.
And just kind of like, how fucking give me my money?
Wow. And was that a non-union movie?
No, it's union, but like there's so that there's like low budget tiers, which they can still be union and be low budget. It's kind of like a chance for like guys like me to be the gaffer, to be like the fucking boss, to like
Okay.
bigger credits and whatnot. But I don't fuck with those movies for the most part because I don't care. I don't want to be the boss.
Right. In New York, what's like a movie? Oh, you worked on both John Wick 2 and 3. Nice.
Yeah.
What's a movie set like what what actor is the worst to work with?
Oh
Or
man.
or name me a couple.
All right. My worst ones. Uh, Tyrese Gibson.
Wait, from Baby
Fast and,
Boy or
Fast and the Furious.
Fast and Furious as well. Yeah, okay. The rapper, right?
Yeah. Well, he raps, but he's mainly an actor.
Okay.
Yeah. Steven Seagal's terrible.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, he's horrible. Fucking Deborah Messing might be the worst.
Why is Steven Seagal so bad?
Uh,
Because
he's
everyone
just
thinks he's a badass.
yeah. He's just like he's a psycho who's just surrounded himself with like with with Steven Seagal fans for decades, and he just has no perspective of the outside world anymore. Just kind of like he's real handsy with fucking women and just fucking like
Oh.
just oh god
Who
the
would win
one
in a fight, Chuck Norris or Steven Seagal?
dude Steven Seagal is fucking huge.
Is he?
Yeah, every actor you meet, you're like, oh, I thought you'd be bigger. Fucking Jack Black is tiny. Christian Bale's not very big. Fucking all these actors are fucking. They tend to be really small. Fucking Seagal, mind you, when I met him, he was getting pretty fat, but he's like 6'8" and fucking like
God
three.
damn.
Yeah, yeah, like dude, he was fucking, and he was getting so fat that when I worked with him, that they were only shooting the action scenes from the waist up because he couldn't kick anymore. Dude, he looked like a guy who would fuck you up if he got a hold of you. He's a big dude.
Like old man strength is what he's got. Now, what's his specialty? But like, why did he suck so much when you were working with him? Because he just didn't get people.
Yeah, he was super needy. He like let's see. He fucking man, this is like one of the first things I worked on. This was a while ago. I remember I was working on the very last day of shooting. I don't even remember what it was called. It doesn't matter. All those movies are straight to DVD. If you saw one, you saw them all. The Keeper is what it's called. Uh, so I worked on it on the very last day, and we work on a movie like you film like 2 to 3 minutes a day. Like on the call sheet, it's usually 2 to 3 minutes. Uh, on the last or it's a minute a page. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, 2 to 3 pages of script we're filming today. Uh, on the last day of this movie, we had 15 pages to film,
Oh.
5 days worth of work, and just turned out to be like a brutal day and stuff. And like they would spend all this time like setting up a scene, like the stunt coordinators would set up like a scene. What we'd be filming one scene, they'd set up a new scene. They'd try to make it really easy for Steven Seagal, and they'd be like, okay, so Steven, like we know you're not kicking anymore, so like when for this scene, you're gonna come in the door, you're gonna karate chop this guy in the neck, you're gonna fucking grab this guy's arm with the gun, you're gonna break his arm, you're gonna fucking take his gun and shoot the other guy with it, and this thing, and then fucking like take this guy's knife and do this. And he goes, I'm feeling real tired. What if I just shot them all? This is a
He
scene
really said that?
Yeah, this is a scene the stunt guys have been putting together for fucking hours. Like fucking, they've been working on it for like 4 or 5 hours. And they're like, but at this point, Steven Seagal's he's the fucking, he's the lead actor, he's the writer, he's the producer of his own movies. So he's the boss too. So he's like, I'm tired. What if I just shoot them all? And they're like, okay. And so this scene that was supposed to be this badass action scene is just Steven Seagal walking in, shooting everyone, but there's no squibs because no one is ready for like a gunfight. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just pulling a trigger and people going, ah, and falling down. With no like bullet holes in them or anything. Yeah.
Do you remember what movie that was?
It was called The Keeper.
Okay, gotcha.
It was in 2000.
And that was in Albuquerque?
That was in Santa Fe.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
Okay. That was in Santa Fe. And then you said Bette Midler? Who was your worst?
Deborah Messing. Grace.
Deborah Messing. And what is she from?
She's Grace from Will and Grace.
Gotcha. Why was she the worst? And what were you doing with her?
I worked with her on a show. I worked with her on 2 shows. I worked with her on what was that fucking Glee ripoff? Oh, Smash.
Okay.
It's called Smash. And then I worked on her on another show where she was a star called The Mysteries of Laura.
Okay.
And that's where I got to know her really well. And to describe her, she's just like, she was clearly the popular girl in high school, like the prom queen, like the most popular girl ever, who was like really mean in high school and hasn't at all. I mean, she's still just like this mean high school girl who's like demands that like she's got like a fucking like she's got like she's got like a posse of less pretty people who like follow her around and like fan her.
What? Wait, what? Like literally fan her?
Like as an electrician, I had to run a fucking like 100-foot extension cord so this lady could follow her around with a fucking electric fan, but like a big box fan, and just hold it and follow her, just to fucking like while we're all outside just working in fucking 90-degree summer heat, and just like, and she's always like, I need a tent with air conditioning, build me one.
Wow.
And then like everything you do for her, she like, if you like are doing where she's like very present and she can't like, it'd be awkward for her not to say thanks. She always looks away before she says, like she'd look away or close her eyes and go thanks. But he owed her.
Oh boy. And this was the same on both shoots, both the one where it was hot outside and the other one.
You know what? I didn't get to see her much on Smash, but
Okay.
I heard Getty, and then I got to see her all the time on The Mysteries of Laura, which was a terrible TV show. It got canceled. You know what? One of my favorite things I ever said was on the set of Mysteries of Laura, which was just like a CBS fucking cop solves a crime every week bullshit. It tried to have a little bit of humor, but it was so bad. It was one of the things you're working on that you know is so bad. And there was this scene where she like tases a guy at the park. Like she tases a mugger at the park while she's playing with her kids. And guy just did like a fucking super like cartoonish, like being electrocuted, like cut down. And as soon as they called cut, I just said, I was like standing in the back of the fucking crowd. I just said, just loud enough for everyone to hear, but not loud enough to get fired. I just went, wow, this show's gonna be terrible. And it got such a big laugh from the entire crew.
Are there many other comics that are on that do crew work like you do?
No.
Really? That seems like
There's
such a perfect job for it.
it is it's perfect if you know how to do it. Like I don't go to work very often.
I know.
I only work like a few days a week, but most people who do what I do for no reason are workaholics. And I mean, like the days are long. Like when you're shooting, your average day is about 13 hours, and
Right. But
it
why
can.
don't more people do how you do?
What's that,
Why don't more people do that?
dude? I can't even fucking like
Because the money's really good.
the money's good, but people would rather be making fucking like if you work fucking 5 6 days a week, which is like fucks like 70 hours.
Right.
If you work 70 hours, you'll pull six figures for the year.
Wow.
But I mean, for me, it's super sweet because I can literally just pick what days I work. I just fucking be like, I want to work Tuesday and Friday next week, and they'll just fucking be like, okay, you got work. But I only get that because I've been around so long.
Oh,
But yeah,
really?
everyone else they have to show up every single day and just kind of like, wow, you don't have to do this, you know. And they just talk about how tired they are all the time. And like,
And then
you can just fucking just tell them you're not coming tomorrow, and they'll find a replacement for you. And they're like,
weird.
what if he becomes my permanent replacement? It's like, well, then find a new job. There's so much.
There's so
We're in
much
the
work.
golden age of television.
Right.
We're in the television, but also I think that's over. I think Corona's going to kill that.
Well, but it's still gonna make it's still there will still be production though.
I mean, there will always be production, but like right now, it's so fucking busy. But of course, everything's shut down because of Corona. There's no like nothing filming right now.
Sure.
But there's enough shit have filmed that there's like another like year of new fucking shows and movies to come out. But after that, like, there's not. And like, when this ends, if people are stuck inside for a really long time, if this lasts months or even like up to like over a year, no one's gonna want to watch TV when they come out. You know what I mean? Dude, comedy audiences are gonna be fucking packed. People are gonna want live entertainment. People are gonna be so sick of sitting in their house.
Right.
And it's like, and if people want new shows, they're gonna want them right away because like it takes a year to fucking to create shit, to like film it and edit it and everything. They're gonna want new shit right away, and the only way to create shit that fast is reality. And there's gonna be another reality boom. And
Yeah.
reality doesn't hire people like me because they don't have a crew. It's literally just one guy filming it. Like, oh, now pretend you're mad at her. Now you cry. Now you cry.
You ever worked on a reality show? Is it awful?
Yeah, I used to work on Dancing with the Stars,
Oh.
and yeah, I wrote an episode. Like I didn't get any writing credit, but just like literally we were filming a fucking episode, and the fucking producer's like, I don't know how to tie this in all into a story, and I can be like, well, I would remember like you can use this footage. I'll just tell the story. Ty Murray was our celebrity we were following around. Who's
Okay.
he's he's the Wayne Gretzky of bull riding.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
already liked him because of your early team rodeo days.
yeah. I knew who he was. Most people didn't know who he was. Well, he's most famous for being Jules' husband.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Okay.
Him and Jewel were both on this season, and Jewel fucking tore her ACL like the first episode. So then it was just him, and he fucking hated it because the only reason he signed on was for his wife. But like, yeah, so he came down to Albuquerque because he was doing a fucking rodeo because he wasn't bull riding at the time. He was just kind of like he was too old. He would just fucking show up and be like, "Welcome to the," like he would MC it more or less,
Okay.
or just introduce it at the very. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was like literally the worst rescue of fucking bull riding. But yeah, the the producer got like some notes from LA. They were like, we want the episode to be that Ty Murray is like really nervous to like go back to the rodeo now that he's been on Dance with the Stars for half a season. And we want him to walk around looking really nervous, and then we'll have a bunch of people come up and shake his hand and say they really like his dancing, and then he'll have a lot more confidence. And they told that to Tony Murray. He's like, okay, here's what you're gonna do. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. And they were like, well, what do you do? He's like, I'm a king here. I don't need to fucking. I'm not gonna do shit. And so then I remember just like going to the producer and being like, okay, here's how we can fucking make that happen. Like we can just get some footage of him walking alone, like in the areas like backstage where fucking no one's gonna approach him, and we'll act like he's fucking feeling alone, and then we'll have a voiceover of his dance partner being like, Ty was really nervous at first, and then we'll show some fucking clips of everyone shaking his hand because everyone that saw him wanted to shake his hand and get their pictures taken with him, and then we'll show that, and then we'll have the voiceover be like, once he saw his fans and how much they liked his dancing, it really worked. And he's like, oh yeah, that does work.
Wait,
And
so that was your idea?
that was
So
my
did you
idea,
get a
yeah.
writing credit on it?
There's no writing for fucking reality shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get a producing credit then?
Yeah. No. Nope, I got a PA credit.
Did that yield another job?
No, I think it was just a time where it was slow, and I was just like, I'll take it. I don't fucking. But I was in the episode.
Oh.
Yeah,
Riding a bull?
that was kind of cool. No, I was holding a fucking mat that they were fucking practicing a dance move.
Oh.
Yeah, but I was in the episode. It's still like when people are like, what are your TV credits? I'm like, oh god, it's CISO, fucking Laughs on Fox. I was in Dancing with the Stars.
They're like, what? That's crazy. Did you have to shave your beard, or beard was still intact?
No. I mean, there was no wardrobe or anything. They were just kind of like, you need to hold this there, and they wound up using footage
Oh, gotcha. I understand.
where I was in the front.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I was more or less.
Wow. Well, this is a fantastic resume that you have here. Oh, you also worked on Gary Goldman's special?
Yeah. Shot that this last year.
Wow, that's cool. What's it like working with HBO?
Hit or miss.
Is
it? They have like these weird contracts. Like pretty much every show is the same, but HBO ones are slightly different, and they love to throw in your face like shit that you don't get with HBO. Like typically, if you work more than 14 hours, or if they work you past like 11 p.m., they have to pay for your cab ride home, like a TV show does. And HBO will be like, "Oh, our contract, we got that erased, so we don't." And they love to like flaunt that in front of you and be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll hop on the subway and take my 2-hour ride home after my 14-hour day of work."
Eesh. That's fucking lame. Okay. And why? Just because HBO's trying to cut corners?
Yeah, just cutting corners. But overall, like, I mean, they have a lot of money, so like catering's good and shit like that. It's fucking. It's not like you're just fucking eating peanut butter sandwiches like some real low budget bullshit.
You were also uncredited on The Wolf of Wall Street. Why were you uncredited there?
I only worked one day.
Oh, gotcha. This is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. All right. So, favorite movie of all time, not just in New Mexico that you've worked on. That the shoot was cool, and the movie was good.
I don't think that exists.
What was the best movie that you think you've worked on?
The best movie I've worked on.
Or the highest grossing, like probably an Avengers movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think Avengers is the highest grossing. The best movie I've worked on. Fuck. It might be The Irishman, which just came out.
Oh yeah.
So I worked on 4 Best Picture nominees, which are Wolf of Wall Street.
Yep.
Get Out.
Yep.
The Irishman.
Yep.
And the Spielberg movie called Bridge of Spies, which no one remembers.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say E.T. I was like, damn, how old are you?
No, Bridge of Spies, it was Tom Hanks.
Okay.
But yeah. The best thing I've worked on, it's a TV show. It's Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad's
that's
the coolest thing.
That's fair. Wow.
But
Nice.
the thing on most recently that I want everyone to check out, I always say, is this show called Happy, which
Happy.
it stars the guy from Law and Order SVU, Christopher Maloney, and it's about this cop turned hitman who fucking has an imaginary cartoon fucking unicorn that fucking lives on his shoulder, voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And
It's called Happy.
it's called Happy with an exclamation point. It's on Sci-Fi, and it's fucking bananas. It's like, I'm very proud of it because it's a very unique show. It's like most shit you work on, it's like, oh, they solve a crime every week, and this shit's fucking bananas. Like, as you're watching it, you're like, oh, I kind of get it, and then every few episodes it just takes a turn. You're like, I would not do that, but it's so fucking unique and so fucking brutal too. Just so gruesome. Just I can't believe it's on Sci-Fi. Like it feels like something that should be on HBO, I guess. But like, yeah, it's just so brutal. But it's also like seen through the lens of like the cartoon unicorn is something like out of a kid's movie, and Christopher Maloney's character is something out of a fucking like
Graphic novel. Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Happy.
It is a graphic novel.
And it's currently on. It's currently on right now on Sci-Fi.
It just got canceled. They only did 2 seasons.
Nice.
And they just canceled it. But I watched the first season and it's fucking bananas. I worked on both seasons.
It's crazy how your favorite shows, I'm sure, get canceled the fastest, like Arrested Development.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. A lot of times though, like. I love to throw that out there when people start getting real nitpicky about like the electric, just kind of like, hey, I told you to run this wire through here and you only ran it through here. And I always go, oh, they're going to cancel the show. Because people take their fucking jobs way serious. It's like, oh, what if the electric rigging's not perfect? Like, no one will fucking notice.
We're playing pretend.
Yeah.
We're playing pretend.
You'll get shit too. Supposed to hide all the wires on set, you know what I mean? Like you're supposed to do a good job so the wires are never in the shot. But like on occasion, like the fucking director be like, hey, we're seeing the wire from that lamp. We can see the wire plugged into the wall. And you're like, yeah, lamps plug into the wall. No one's gonna be watching at home being like, wait a minute, that lamp has a wire. This is fake.
Well, Brett, you do more than just video stuff or movie stuff too. You're a comedian. You have a fantastic comedy show that you travel the country with.
Yeah.
Called Comedians
Power
Hour. One of the greatest shows I think ever created of all time in the history of the world.
Right. We were supposed to be doing it this week in LA.
We were supposed to be having a non-COVID-19 edition of this. And it kind of fucking blows that we can't do it. When do you when are you gonna make that into a TV show?
You know what?
We could stream it, dude.
Yeah, no, actually, Jake Brown hit me up yesterday about doing it on Twitch.
Yep.
For his Hold the Phone show, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do a pilot, if you will.
That's what I've been doing with him for Boulder, is doing the Boulder Comedy Show, and it's great. It's such a good production, man. It's something I wanted to do on my own, but you really can't with you just need more help. Like it's hard enough for me to maintain this by myself and put the little slide or the little sidebar next to it without losing my fucking train of thought, but. You know, it's just great working with them. It looks clean, it looks smooth, and they're great.
Yeah.
When are you going to try and do that, you think?
I mean, we just had the conversation last night, so who knows? I told him I would talk to him about it this week.
Nice.
But I feel like the show might fit Twitch pretty well, you know what I mean? As far as like the stand-up I've been watching, it's kind of like, it's great to see, but some things are kind of like, oh, it's hard to listen to a long story when you're not live.
Right.
And shit like that. Hour might work pretty well because it's just cut up in such 2-minute chunks.
Interesting. That is true. That is definitely a damn. That would be actually pretty perfect for it for sure. Plus, to be pretty light on the production. Maybe not. It might actually be a little more hefty because you got to start going back and forth with it. But still, I think it'd be a great show to try on there. I love what they're doing. I'm gonna try to turn my show into a like a late night talk show with guest
Yeah.
comedians. Is kind of what my goal is for the Boulder Comedy Show in the digital format. So that's what I'm thinking.
How's it been going so far?
Well, we only did one, and I really liked it. It was very traditional to Boulder ways. I did 25 minutes up front, and
Yeah.
and then everyone else did 5 to 10. And but yeah, I'm gonna cut it up shorter. I think that I want to make it a little. I think I want to adapt to the online world a little differently. I think that I don't want to. Um, I don't want to do just stand up top, as the host. I think that I
Yeah.
would. I think I want to kind of make it a little more different, or just a little. I don't know, a little more unique on that end. I'd like to have a co-host in here. It's hard hosting the show by yourself with no human bodies in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe
So
you.
yeah. So, but that's how I kind of want to do it so far.
Let me explain Power Hour to anyone listening.
I would.
Yeah. So my show, the reason we think it'll work so well on Twitch is you book two comedians to trade off doing 2 minute sets, and every 2 minutes you stop the show, and they drink a double shot of beer, like a 2 ounce shot of beer, hence the Power Hour. And then as the show goes on, Brent loves the show, by the way. He books it in Boulder all the time, and he loves being the guest bartender, which he's very good at. Probably my favorite. And so as the show goes on and they get really drunk, we throw in challenges like, now do 2 minutes of each other stand up, or shit.
Yep.
It's just like now the entire audience is fucking are new prisoners out of jail, and you got to give them a fucking scared straight talk. They're juvenile delinquents, or just like we'll bring an audience member on stage, and the fucking at the very end when the comics are real trash, like you each have 2 minutes to hit on this person. Go.
Well, yeah. Pick them up from the bar, or get them like they're the lawyers, and one's prosecution, one's defense.
Yeah, or just give them free therapy.
It's a fun show, and if you lose the challenge, you have to rip a shot of liquor, so you end up getting pretty drunk by the end of the show.
Yeah. Comics are very drunk by the end. It is a very difficult show to host, but audiences fucking love it.
It's very fun. It's a very drinking. It's a very like drunk show too. Everyone fucking really gets hammered.
Yeah. Yeah, and the crowd fucking eggs on these drunk comics until
Sam
shit
Talent
really
got
hits the
completely
fan.
naked on stage. Christy Buckley one time almost ruined. She poured a entire carafe of water on someone's phone. It was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It was nuts. So. Anyway, yeah, it's nuts. Well, that's exciting. I hope it goes well. I've got. I love the idea for the show, and I think that that you know I think that was a good format for it, to be honest.
We had someone throw up on stage for the first time ever.
Oh, really? On our stage?
Yeah.
He didn't throw. Wait, they
No,
threw up
no,
on
no.
stage?
On Power Hour. We were doing it in Fort Collins,
Oh, gotcha.
and just kind of like the beer garden in that they didn't have any light beers, but they really didn't have any light beers, and so we were drinking like a fucking red, like a Scottish fucking a Scottish beer. Yeah, and fucking same shit that you did that one time that everyone got sick. Jacob Erdman was bartender.
So
But
when
like,
when I was doing it, I poured so much more alcohol than was supposed to be in there. It's supposed to be 2 ounces of alcohol, and I was pouring 4 to 6 ounces per round.
yeah,
And
dude, people are drinking.
We straight up
But
lost
no
Matt
one.
Kobos. He just left the city of Boulder. Just got into an Uber and left. And then he was so drunk he
No.
left his phone in the fucking Uber.
Yeah. Well, just for the record, the point of the show is never to get anyone so drunk that they're throwing up. We'd had it happen a couple times when comics showed up to the show, they'd already been drinking. They'd thrown up after the show, but like no one had ever like. It only happened a couple times, and then when Brent did it, he poured these way too high, and the shows were fantastic, by the way. It really helped the shows. But afterwards, I think 3 out of the 4 comics we had on, because we had 2 shows, 3 out of the 4 threw up, and I was like, Brent, you can't be pouring them that high. But yeah, so just recently, fucking fucking Jacob Erdman was just pouring them, same deal, like 4 or 5 ounces of just like dark fucking Scotch beer,
Right.
Scottish beer, and fucking. I went and like told him like 3 times, like literally, like, oh, don't pour him so high, and he's like, okay, and then like he was still pouring him really high, and I was like, really pour him less. And that 3rd time I was like, seriously, 2 ounces, like these guys are barely getting these down. I was watching them gag on, and then fucking. Bridget Callahan, fucking like a fucking champ. She had just taken a shot, and then she went to drink fucking 6 ounces of beer and just fucking threw it right back up.
Oh no!
But in all fairness, it was like one of those pukes that was like, it was just the drink that she just took came right back up, and that was it.
Yep.
Like that ounces of liquid came back up, and then she finished the show like a fucking very strong, actually.
But then what's fucking crazy is that this alcohol, like you're so drunk that, and you're drinking all of this in an hour, like so it's just like half of it hasn't even hit you yet, and that's how drunk you are right now. That's what's crazy. Like when Steve and I did it, I was like, oh, we're gonna be fine, and then we fucking. So I started pre-gaming, which is a classic mistake. People pre-game, and then and then we fucking get so hammered that I've taken my shirt off at the show and walked on tables. I think my favorite one is being a wrestling heel and then yelling at the crowd.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite challenge.
That round. What? We do.
We did that one. We did it's hard because they run together because I'm at most of them. So I do the bartending and I forget which ones, but the ones I enjoy the most are definitely the ones about getting them, like being the like halftime coach. Like anything where I can yell at the crowd, I'm a big fan of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to, I hate to use the word improv, but all the challenges are just one-man speeches.
Yeah.
That you have to riff.
Yeah.
And that's so, right. I mean, the thing is with comedians, like all comics can riff, and man, you have so much more confidence riffing when you have that much alcohol in your system. And the audience is fucking very forgiving because they know you're drunk. And
right.
it makes a perfect storm of just... Man, yeah, the more you shout at the audience, the more the audience loves it. So it works out real well.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite shows, and I hope it goes viral because it's a real good one for sure. You do that in New York, but you travel with it. You've done it in Boulder. We were gonna do it out here in LA, and stuff like that. So if people want to, it's 9/11, so we're gonna make a wish, and we're going to, if people want to find out about you and about your shows and upcoming events, what do you want them to find?
Literally just follow me on my handle on everything is @Brett Hiker, Brett with 2 T's, Hiker like it sounds. I post everything about Power Hour on that. You will definitely know about the next show, but right now I don't even know when the next show is. It's a weird time to be promoting.
It really is.
But you know what? If it's going to be on Twitch, I will make sure everyone knows about it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Which it's very exciting. so many big names are just sitting at home,
Right.
and I feel like we could get some big names doing Power Hour.
Right. It's pretty cool because that's how I'm kind of treating Boulder. It's like, how big of a name can I get right now? And
Yeah,
who doesn't want to get drunk for Power Hour?
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, sweet man. Well, thanks for stopping in and chatting with us. I'm so surprised you haven't gotten electrocuted or fired or any of that. Have you ever been electrocuted?
Nah, not really. I've been shocked a few times, but not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the
It's.
biggest
I
mistake you've
mean, for the
ever
most
had?
part, my. What's that?
What's the biggest mistake you've ever had?
Oh wow. Here's the thing: is I'm not gonna. I'm thinking of a few of them, and I know the biggest one is not coming to my head. What have I?
And you've never been fired. That's crazy.
No, I've been fired. I just haven't
Except
been
for
fired for.
being an asshole though, but not for like lack of
Yeah.
knowledge.
Dude, I got fired on the Avengers because the the fucking guy, I think he's the video effects guy. We're filming that big final scene where they're fighting the fucking aliens in downtown New York, and and he like calls us. He's like, "You guys want to see what this scene's supposed to look like when it's done?" And he had it cut together where like all the scenes that we had already shot were cut together with like computer animated fucking scenes of what it's supposed to be like, so we could just kind of get the whole thing. And we were all gathered around watching it, and the fucking best boy comes by, who's a real dick, and he goes, "What are you guys watching?" And someone was like, "Oh, footage from you from last night," because apparently he got really drunk before. And I said, "Yeah, it's called Two Best Boys, One Cup." And he did not like that, and then called me to the truck like later that day, and he's like, "You know what? We turns out we don't need you the rest of the week. We're gonna let you go."
What?
And I was like, "Okay." And then he fucking let me go, and then fucking 2 days later, they called the union looking for guys, and the union put me back on that movie. So he unknowingly had to rehire me.
Oh God, that's a pretty good story. That's a pretty good story.
Yeah. Also, I got fired off a show for we set up 6 big 18Ks, which is about as big as lights get, 18,000 watts,
Yeah.
big ass lights. So we set all up, and they were like, "Okay, so can you like label each one of these lights 1 through 6, and then label each one of their fucking cables all the way back to their ballast, and label each ballast 1 through 6. So we know which ballast turns on which light. The ballast is the box that fucking with all the switches on it,
Yep. I've grown weed.
and
Yep.
and so I labeled them all 1 through 5, and then 6. I just drew dicks on the labels all the way down because it doesn't fucking matter as long as you know what light is which. You know, it's the dick light. It doesn't matter what.
Kick the dick light.
So I drew
Striking.
dicks on it, and they saw it, and they're like, "We can't have dicks on the lights." It's like no one comes around behind set and sees the fucking lights. No one that matters. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're the only ones back here, and they're like, "No, that you can't have dicks on our equipment." And I was like, "You change it to a 6," and I was like, "Okay." And man, I was able to draw a 6
That looked
that
like a
looked
dick.
so much like a dick ball. Yeah, with the balls as the red part, and then the fucking dick coming up as a 6. It took me forever, and I just drew a really good dick in the shape of a 6 on every. I had to draw like 12 of them, all the way fine. And they came back and they fucking saw it. Oh no, it was so we went to lunch, and when I came back from lunch, like an hour after lunch, I went and walked past it, and someone had relabeled the whole thing with like a proper 6, and then the same thing. At the end of the day, they're like, "We don't need you back tomorrow."
Oh man, I've never met someone with as little care for their job as you have. It.
well, a part of it too is that when you're union, like they're all just gigs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can get a new job in a heartbeat. If you get fired from one, you're just like, "Oh, I'll work in the next one."
And none of that word gets around that you're the dick guy. You're the guy drawing dicks on the on light labels.
I only have a handful of stories like that where I pushed it so hard I got fired. So no, I don't think I have a reputation for that. For the most part, people like me. Like that's what got me in the union. It wasn't. I had to learn a lot of this shit, but for the most part, I think that I'm just likable.
Okay.
And so, like a lot of the tests where it was just kind of like I had to perform a task in like under a certain amount of minutes in front of a proctor. A few times I think I just made mistakes, and they're like, Brett's all right. He's fun. He drinks with us at lunch.
Oh God, I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, I wish we could hang out and high five and shake hands and lick doorknobs together.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long time.
I know. I'm not gonna be licking a doorknob for fucking Lord knows how long.
Well, I mean, you can wipe down a doorknob and lick it if you get really you start jonesing real bad.
I guess so.
It's not the same. Public doorknobs taste the best.
They're the best. It's like putter. It's like public water fountains. I'm just out there just.
Yeah.
Bert.
Picture you take huge dog laps over the fountain. Touch it all the metal.
I'm like one of those kids in like elementary school that puts his whole mouth on the fucking water fountain.
Yeah. Well, in all fairness to those kids, fucking like a third of the fountains in my elementary school, the water just barely trickled out.
Mm.
So you literally had to put your mouth on and suck. I guess what I'm trying to say is I was one of those kids.
You're trying to defend yourself.
Myself, outed myself at the same time.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Here's to comedians in quarantine. Cheers.
For me.
Of course, you're very welcome. Fascinating little world you live in. It's hilarious to me that you haven't been fired before.
I have.
I mean, but like not like for not knowing what you do. Yeah, you've been fired, but you don't know how to be an electrician until 2 years ago, and you've been doing this for fucking 10.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, so one time I'm trying to think of something I did. I was running wire through an air duct, and like I needed to like tie off the end because I kept pulling up the end where you plug in so it wouldn't reach the outlet. And I was like, fuck. And then I was like, you know what? If I plug it in, it'll stay in the wall while I run it through the fucking vent. But there was nothing on the other end of this wire. It was just bare copper. So as soon as I plugged it in, fucking just a bunch of fucking sparks flew and just fucking showered down onto the set from the fucking ceiling.
Whoops! Eesh!
Yeah.
Yowza! How was that in New Mexico?
That was in New Mexico, yeah.
So you
Yeah, for sure.
they asked you to go do something to go like rig a light and hide the cable.
Yeah.
But how many fucking power cables don't have insulation on it though?
Well, it was a fucking cord that I hadn't built yet. It was like a really small cord that like you actually snap on the ends. You snap on the male end, you snap on the female end on the other side. A zip cord. You kind of make it yourself. But it was still on the spool. So I was like spooling it out, and I just kept pulling up the tail, and I was like, "Fuck, this is never gonna work unless I tie that tail to something." And there was nothing to tie it to, so I just plugged it in, and pop. Oh, you know what? Here's a story.
Yes.
So on the so on Avengers, the very first shot, Avengers, has fucking Clark Gregg sitting there as fucking Samuel L. Jackson comes down in a helicopter and lands right in front of him. Like, it's the very first scene.
Okay.
And I can't watch it because it reminds me of this, which so for the scene, the helicopter didn't have a spotlight, so we just put a spotlight up on this hill, and I was in charge of it. And they're like, as the fucking helicopter lands, you have to tilt the spotlight to the actor's face, like the helicopter spotlight hit him. And then the actor puts on some sunglasses like a badass as the spotlight hits him. And I was like, okay. And then the gaffer, who was a real dick, goes, who's in charge of that light? And I was like, I'm on it. I'm standing next to it. I'm ready. And this one dickhead I work with was just like, it's like, really? We're going to let a New Mexico guy do that? New Mexico guys fuck up everything. Or he's like, you're not gonna fuck it up like you guys fuck up everything, are you? And I was just like, what? Fuck you. And just like, no, I got it. And then like I was just sitting there, just fucking dwelling on him saying that. Just like, oh, you New Mexico guys fuck up everything. And I was like, what a fucking dick. Who fucking says that? Who fucking says that? Like, and as I'm thinking that, I totally missed my cue to fucking tilt the light on the actor. It's fucking. It costs like over $1,000 each time you land a helicopter. You have to pay the helicopter guy fucking for each take. You know what I mean? Because he's risking his life each time he brings the helicopter in. And so I fucking fucked up a helicopter take, which had to cost probably $3,000. And yeah, I remember like I do it, and the fucking after it gets on the walkie, he's like, "Are we not doing the fucking light gag like we talked about?" And then they removed me from that position.
For the next take?
For the next take, yeah, they fucking took me off the light and put a more competent person on it.
You should have been talking shit. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I was dwelling on that mean thing you said to me.
Well, that dwelling just cost us $1,000 fucking dollars. That's crazy.
Right?
Wow.
So maybe the most expensive mistake.
Well, at least you never killed anyone or yourself.
Never killed anyone, but I've been on movies where people have died. A lot of things where people have died.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we can't stop yet. What have you been on that people died?
A stuntman died on the Lone Ranger.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Was that a fucking John Wick movie or no? Not John Wick.
Depp.
Oh, Johnny Depp. No, I was thinking Walker, Texas Ranger.
No. This is the Lone Ranger. Is the one where Johnny Depp played Tonto. It was the Pirates of the Caribbean guy, director. Yeah,
okay.
It was bad. It was a Disney
it bad?
movie. Huge budget. Like we built a fucking.
Oh, it was a Disney movie?
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, with Pirates of the Caribbean kind of thing.
And a stuntman died on it?
Yeah, stuntman died. I wasn't there the day he died, but yeah.
What happened?
I think he jumped up. He fell off the train.
Yeesh.
Yeah. And then on that show Power, the 50 Cent show, one of the parking PAs got hit by a fucking car a couple years ago and got killed. I want to say on Terminator, there was a fucking car accident on going from set to set where someone got killed.
Damn.
Yeah.
How often are people getting killed in movies? In like the production
Not very.
of it? No.
It's pretty rare.
How often are bullets going off with bullets in them and not blanks?
Oh, so you mean like The Crow?
Yeah.
Do you want to know the true story behind that?
Yeah.
You're kind of a gun guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a nerd, but I have my gun right here. Well, I'm not gonna like
fire it in the air. You have neighbors above you?
What's up?
You have neighbors above you?
Oh yeah. And it's a 45 caliber. It'll get to the top.
Yeah. Okay, so like when you look at a bullet, you got the shell, then you got the bullet in the very end, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a blank?
Nope.
So blanks don't have the bullet on the end. They just have the end of the shell is just crimped shut. So it's just gunpowder inside the shell.
So this is what a bullet looks like. And so you're saying, Bert, that this end here is just crimped so it smashes the hammer, or the hammer smashes the charge, and it just fires off the gunpowder.
Yeah, it just opens up and there's no actual projectile.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's what you use on set. But on the rare occasion where they need to see like the actual bullet in the gun, they have bullets that look like that, but inside where the gunpowder is, there's a BB. So you can shake, hear it rattling, and you know it's not a real bullet.
Oh.
Yeah. So they had a scene with those bullets in there, with the fake bullets. They had no gunpowder. They're just for show. They had a scene with those, and one of the bullets that was in the gun, the actual fucking projectile fell out of the shell and got stuck in the barrel, like rolled down the barrel and got stuck in the barrel.
Oh, like the BB.
Not the BB, like the actual bullet. There's no gunpowder behind it, but it fell out of the shell and got stuck in the barrel. And then later on, they loaded the fucking gun with blanks. But halfway down the barrel, there was a fucking stuck bullet.
Oh.
The crows, they fucking fired it, and fucking because there was a bullet halfway down the barrel, it fired out the end and shot Brandon Lee in the stomach.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
that's
So
a
now,
freak
like,
accident. That's some Final Destination shit right there.
it's a total freak accident, but now because of it, whenever there's any sort of like guns on set, there's two different guys who both have to like check it and make sure it's unloaded and the barrels is clear. Two different people have to check it and say it's clear, and they're both like gun experts.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Fuck, dude. That's frightening. Dude.
Yeah, you can't be shooting people dead.
Right? That's interesting that there's a BB inside of it. Like it I mean all that makes total sense. But that's interesting that it interesting. So it got stuck in the barrel, and then when they took out the clip, put in the new clip with blanks, the blank. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So it's yeah. One of the armors on set told me that story because he's like, oh yeah, we all know how it went down. It's the most famous fuck up amongst armorers.
Did I forget if that guy died or not?
Brandon Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died. He died because of it.
I knew it.
Yeah. It's a rough way to go out.
Dude, it really is. Guns frighten me, a little bit. Not frighten me, but like other people with them and not like knowing a ton about them. Like the only time I want to use that thing is when it's game time.
Yeah, I mean, the people that want the fucking assault rifles terrify me. Assault rifles are the truck nuts of guns. They're just it's such a douchey thing. I need an AK. It's just like,
Oh,
dude, you don't.
the truck nuts of guns. Gotcha. That's fair.
I grew up in a hunting family, and like, I mean, lots of like shotguns and rifles and shit, and just like, I don't know. It was always like a rule in my family. Like, no one needs that gun. No one needs an AK.
Wow.
But yeah, they're still out there, and they're selling like hotcakes right now.
Dude, I can't buy ammo out here in California as a Colorado resident.
Yeah,
I have to be a resident of California, and residents have to get a background check to get ammunition.
really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. Right?
Yeah, I get denied buying a shotgun out here in Iowa.
Really?
Yeah, same reason.
Because
New York license.
yeah. Oh, well, that would make
Yeah.
total sense. That would make total sense. If you had a Colorado license, that would, then maybe not. But
I would hope so, but yeah, I don't think you can buy a gun if you have a New York City license because
think
they don't want you to take.
nope. Which
Yeah.
makes sense. Which makes sense.
Oh. I just got to stand outside the gun store and shoulder tap some 18-year-old to go buy it for me.
Hey man, can you hey mister, can you go buy me a gun?
I'll meet you.
Cool.
I'll meet you in the park at the Safeway.
Wow. Well, that's crazy, man. So you've never been on set when someone died, though?
No, I've never seen it close up. I was I've seen some stuntmen get really fucked up.
Really? Whose fault
yeah.
is it normally? Is it normally the stuntman's fault, or is it normally like a crew fault?
Stunt coordinator.
Oh, really?
They take the blame typically. Yes, stunt coordinator is just like some veteran stuntman who like when they say what they want, he finds like he decides the safest way to do it and what they need.
Gotcha.
And then he tries to do it. But
Eesh.
yeah,
What was the
stuntmen are
worst
also
fuck up?
included.
Like, what was the fuck up that you saw in what movie?
On Avengers.
Did
So
Avengers
that
just have
scene where
everything go wrong on there? I feel like that's just got the most amount of stories.
I was just on it for forever. I was on it for like 9 months, so I have a
Oh
lot of
wow,
stories from it. Um,
that's a long
so
time.
what
How
was it?
long was the shoot for that movie?
What's that?
How long was the shoot for the movie?
Oh, I wasn't even on it the whole time. It was about a year.
Fuck, for
I think
real?
then it takes a year to edit, and then it fucking comes out.
That's nuts. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, those big movies. Yeah, so that scene where fucking Thor and Iron Man are fighting in the woods, and then Captain America interrupts it, and he's standing on a big fucking like pile of trees, and like he originally the fucking scene went like he's like that's enough, and then he jumps down between them, and the original scene he was gonna jump, grab onto a limb, and like swing around at once like a fucking Olympian on the bars,
Uh huh.
swing around at once, and then fucking land, and the stuntman just fucking missed the branch, which was it was a fake branch, it was a bar stuck
Sure.
in the tree. Yeah, he was supposed to like jump, grab, and swing around. Just fucking missed it. Like jumped, missed it, and then just fucking fell into a pile of trees and like broke his ribs. Fucking was just down and out. But
Ooh, God.
they had another stuntman ready to go, so it didn't really slow down production that much.
All
But
right, get him out. That's fine.
when you see the final take, they decided that was too dangerous. So in the final take, Captain America just jumps down real normal. There's no trick. He just kind of goes whoop, and like jumps, doesn't do a flip at all. Just fucking
Did they just pull the whole stunt
so
entirely?
pulled the whole stunt. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Damn.
but
Broke his fucking
yeah,
ribs.
yeah.
What else? What was another good one that's not an Avengers based one?
So on Cowboys and Aliens, uh, there's when the aliens are attacking the old West town. There was a scene they wanted a horse rearing up and crashing through a wall like into someone's house,
Uh huh.
and so fucking set up just kind of like this fake house with like a real flimsy wall, and they had a horse like walking behind it, and just like this horse just walked down this narrow category like this narrow corridor, and they just had a little explosive built in the ground. It was just like a flash that wouldn't hurt the horse at all, but like just have it go off in front of the horse, so the horse would rear up and fall through it. And on the first take, the horse fucking just threw the it reared up and it just threw the rider through the wall. The horse didn't fall through the wall, so it just threw the rider through.
Okay.
And they're like, no, we wanted the whole horse to come through. And so then the second take, the fucking horse is already super spooked because it already had a explosion go off in its face the last time it walked down this. And so it was just like, and so the timing was off, and then it went off way ahead of the horse, and the horse just fucking turned around and ran back. And then after it happened twice, the horse wouldn't fucking do it again. So then they had to find a new horse, and then that horse fucked up like 2 takes and then wouldn't do it again. And then they had to go. That horse was a different color. That horse, it was a brown horse they needed, but this horse had a big white stripe on the middle of its nose. So they fucking went and got a bunch of like costume hair color and just fucking sprayed it down all brown. Which,
Oh my
mind
God.
you, it didn't cover the horse's eyes at all. Like that whole thing of just like no animals were harmed during the making of this. That's fucking bullshit, man. They were just spraying fucking hair dye in the horse's eyes. The horse was fighting it. They're all holding it, just fucking spraying down this fucking stripe in the middle of
Get it done
his forehead.
faster.
And
Get it faster.
meanwhile, there's all these teamsters watching who are just being like, back in our day, they would have just tied all four of the horse's legs together and pushed him through the wall, just have him collapse through it. And anyway, we literally this one shot we started on it about lunch. It took the whole second half of the day, probably like 8 hours. They fucking never got it. They never
Oh.
like it. Just everything just kept fucking wrong. And then the next day, the fucking only thing on the call sheet was like to get that horse shot. And fucking everyone showed up with like lawn chairs and shit, and just fucking just parked their lawn chairs and sat down, just being like, "Well, it's gonna be a long day." And then they totally got it in the first take the next day. I was like, ah, fuck.
With which horse? The one that they put all that hairspray on?
No, it was a whole new horse.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
the horses were too small. They're too smart to fall for that shit too many times.
Really?
They wanted no part of that. Yeah.
I mean, fuck, if I saw something explode out there, I'm like, no, hell no. I remember when I
Yeah,
let
exactly.
my when I let my cat I don't remember where I was. Oh, I was at my house that on Corona and in Denver. And I let my cat come downstairs and we go all the way to the main door outside and I open the door and he sticks his head out and then a bus drives by and he's like, fuck this, and just bolts back up the stairs. He's like, no, that's too
Yeah.
much. It's like, that would be like seeing a fucking airplane land right next to you. You'd be like, Jesus Christ, I'm out.
It's being a fucking dinosaur.
Right, yeah. It's nuts. So, have you ever thought about directing your own movies, or do you just work union stuff because it's easy and then do comedy?
Yeah, that's for the most part. Do it because it's easy. Like, I would love to direct and shit, but honest to God, I don't think I have to be a director. Like, I think I'd be a pretty good writer, but as far as like when I watch the Nix brothers work and shit, it's like they have a way
They're
to like
so good.
they're so good, and the crew doesn't hate them, and I feel like the crew would hate me real quick.
Yeah, but you're part of the crew. Why don't you think you'd be able to do that?
I don't. I don't think I make a good boss. I don't think I make a good like boss's boss.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
mm,
I think I'd fucking too many people would resent me, just the way I hate myself.
mm. Are you just a resentable person?
Uh,
Cat
I it's
cat
not.
leg
I'm not
balls.
resentable so much. It's just I don't command a lot of respect. They'd be like, ah, this guy's in charge. Come on.
Is your girlfriend standing right there? Is that what's happening?
But yeah, an example.
uh, yeah, I think I could direct. I think the key to directing is you have to keep your cool. You have to be the
Yeah,
one
totally.
that is like, it's cool. We're going to get this. Like, you cannot be showing any sign of stress or freaking out. Because if you're freaking out, then the crew's going to has an excuse to start freaking out too. If you're cool, calm as a cucumber, and you're still not yelling, even though you're far behind, I still think that's a good way to go.
That's someone else described to me like the best director. They know what they want, but they're flexible when it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, they can really easily do something that works. Where, man, you meet some directors who are really flexible, but they don't know what they want, and it's just kind of like we're here all fucking day because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Or you meet the fucking little dickheads who are just like they know exactly what they want, and then when shit doesn't work, they throw a fit, and they're like, "Make it work." And I'm like, "We can't. It's raining. I'm sorry."
I don't know what to tell you. We can't
Yeah.
stop it from raining. Call God.
Yeah.
Call Mother Nature. Oh, Skype, come on. Crazy. All right. Well, Brett, that was a good chat, man.
Yeah, there's a real hoot.
Let's do this again sometime. Let's do this
Yeah.
with Comedians Power Hour sometime.
Fucking A. Everyone that's listening, check out Comedians Power Hour.
Pow! It's going to be on twitch.tv, so make sure that you check into that. We'll be doing the Boulder Comedy Show on Sunday on that as well. Just hold the phone.tv and hold the phone. It's basically like an online comedy club. There you go, everybody. Brett, thanks for tuning in. Listeners at home, thanks for tuning in. That's Bert Hiker. It's really Brett Hiker. Brett, thanks for your time.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Make sure you keep those hands washed, okay?
Will do.
Make sure you keep those hands washed out of your pants and dipped in sanitizer. All right.
Sanitizer, but
I think we have reached the limit of what Skype's call capabilities are. Well, you're the man. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. That's Brett Hiker, everybody. Brett Hiker, the man, the myth, the now legend. Whoa, I didn't realize this was so messed up. There we go. Pow. That was fun. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. If you're just joining us, you missed quite a long and fantastic conversation with our comedian Brett Hiker, who just popped in for the. Let's turn this on over here. It's wine. It's Wine Wednesday, of course. So we just turned on. We've been drinking some wine, ripping some bongs, and we had a great conversation about Brett. He's worked on over 70 movies and TV shows like The Avengers, Breaking Bad. The John Wick films. A lot of the X-Men stuff. Gambit. He worked on Spider-Man. He worked on. You name it. He's been on a lot of it. And his favorite one that he says to recommend. I know we're in quarantine right now, so the one he says is Happy on the Sci-Fi Channel. He says it's crazy weird, but in a good way. So, but he also is notorious for having shows that he likes that no one else actually does. So, but thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to our sponsors for sponsoring this show, and please feel free to back it up and watch it. And we'll see you. I'm trying to put these out every weekday night from 7 till we get done with a good conversation. So we'll see you guys next time, and bye-bye. Thanks, everyone. Oh, I got to turn that music on. I wasn't ready for this. Here we go. Oh.